Hello, and welcome to episode 2 of
The Nick.
The Jake
And
the
the
movies. What's going on, Nick?
Not much. I've been watching a lot of DC stuff.
Right,
this
okay.
week. Yeah. I watched Man of Steel,
Right.
which you haven't seen.
I have not seen Man of Steel, no.
So I'm going to make you watch it at some point. And out of all of those first movies, from Man of Steel to Justice League, I think that's my favorite. That includes all the other ones, not just the Zack Snyder ones.
Really?
Yeah, like Suicide Squad and Wonder Woman, I think Man of Steel
Oh,
is my
okay, you're talking
favorite.
about the DCEU.
All the DCEU stuff, yeah. Well, I like it more than Joker as well.
Man of Steel?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't dislike Joker. I
think I may dislike Joker.
That's fine. I get that. It happened to my friend Ralph. So I kind of have a bias. But
God damn it.
no, I'm talking about Man of Steel. That's what happened to my friend Ralph. It's
Wow,
crazy.
this Ralph. He keeps his life must be crazy, man.
It is, yeah. Oh, poor Ralph. No, and yeah, I love it a lot. I love Michael Shannon as Zod.
Yep.
I think he's great. I think he's terrifying. So that was a lot of fun, and I love the incredible amount of violence and damage to the city.
Because that's what a lot of people don't like.
That's the thing is I don't like it because it's part of a Superman movie.
Right.
But if it was just two random superpowered aliens that like we don't know of as like a super good guy, like God's Boy Scout, it would be a different movie.
Yeah.
Because really it's an alien invasion movie. Like it's like that's what it kind of is. Like
that makes sense.
What an alien is hiding among Earthlings, and then when his
Superman, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And when his homeworld comes to get him,
wait, this is E.T.
Yeah. Oh my God, it is.
Man of Steel is E.T. Wow.
Well, yeah, when his homeworld comes to get him,
Zack Snyder, you hack.
They start like taking apart the world.
Right. Yeah. That doesn't happen in E.T. But
no, it's like E.T. meets War of the Worlds.
Right. Okay.
You know, kind of like
terrifying.
Yeah, that's what Man of Steel is. It's almost exactly that. I'd watch that.
I'd watch that. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. And and I don't. That's the thing is like that character. A lot of people complain that it's like he's very mopey, indecisive Superman.
Who Henry Cavill's Superman?
Yeah.
Right.
And that's true. But if it wasn't Superman, it would be all right to be a little whiny and indecisive, because that's who a character can be.
Right.
You know, it doesn't have to be God's Boy Scout. That's why I wanted to see Brightburn, but I never got around to it.
I read a synopsis on Brightburn. I did not watch it.
No.
It seemed bad.
Did it?
Well, I don't know.
I mean, yeah. A Serious Man is one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
And you didn't want to watch it at first because you had read a synopsis, and it just butchered it down to almost nothing.
Yeah, I think I read the synopsis, but I don't think it stuck with me either. Like, I don't think I really remembered it, because when we watched it, things were happening that I was like, what is happening right now? Like, I don't remember any of this.
Well, that's the thing is that
I read a synopsis before you were like, we should watch this movie. I didn't read it after you were like, we should watch this movie.
Yeah, fair enough. Nick in prep, I watched the entire thing.
Yeah.
Just over, text. So, yeah. That is, but I love Man of Steel, and yeah, I'm gonna make you watch it because I think you're gonna enjoy it, but you're gonna hate parts of it.
Yeah, I think that's the only DCEU movie I haven't seen so far.
Okay.
So I've seen Wonder Woman, I've seen Suicide Squad,
and I don't mind Suicide Squad. I think the ending is
the best part is the bar scene.
Yes.
When they're in the bar and they're just talking.
Oh my God, yeah.
That's literally the best. That's a good moment.
It's a great moment. And the one he's like, if any of you want to leave, you can. And Captain Boomerang just leaves. He just slaps his hands on the table and leaves the bar.
Yeah, that's
I
pretty
love
good.
that. Well, it's ruined because the second they leave the bar, he just kind of rejoins them. There's no moment where he's just like, oh, fuck it. Or like somebody's like, no, you should do this because of this. He just kind of wanders back in.
Right.
Well, why'd you leave? Just to make people laugh?
For the goof of it.
The imaginary audience.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, he doesn't know there's an audience.
What else did you do this week?
Oh, God. What did I do this week? I started watching Extraction.
Extraction. What's
yeah,
that?
that's the Netflix movie with Chris.
Oh,
Hemsworth.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I didn't get far in it, but everyone's saying it's the next John Wick. Well, not everyone's saying it, but a lot of people are saying that, and I see what they're getting at. I have to finish it to like get a better idea, but it's like it is like John Wick in some sense, but I don't know because it doesn't have that same gravitas.
Right.
John
I feel
Wick.
like John Wick is like classy.
Yeah, and this is in the middle of like a war torn country, and all this is going on.
It kind of gives me Michael Bay vibes.
I can see that.
I've just seen like trailers.
Like a Michael
so.
Bay movie.
Yeah,
the way it's shot. But I don't. You know what? I haven't finished it, so I can't say whether it's good or bad. But I liked it so far.
It's good so far.
Yeah.
Nice.
But what about you?
So this week, I took a trip up to a friend's cabin, and while up there, we just hung out and swam in the lake. It was really nice. And one thing we really did was we played drinking games to movies.
Oh,
and,
boy.
I think we played 3 or 4 different drinking games to movies. We watched The Room, Tommy Wiseau's famous movie. And then another night we watched Cat in the Hat.
Yes. Oh. Now I'm jealous.
That's got a great drinking game to it.
I'm sure.
One of them was chug for 3 seconds every time Mrs. Kwan is shown. So if you know who that is, it's amazing. And then right after that, we went from Cat in the Hat to Django Unchained.
Yes.
The best double feature I've ever watched.
Complete the trilogy with King Kong versus Godzilla in 1970.
And then, I think we watched one more movie. Well, other than just playing drinking games, we watched Green Room as well.
Oh, okay.
That was my choice.
Oh, I know it was. Every time I've ever seen that movie, it's because you're like, we should watch Green Room.
I love that movie so much.
I like that movie a lot.
We're going to talk about that movie later on when we get to other topics. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And then I got back, and I haven't really been watching much, but I also watched a Netflix thing. But a much more darker and serious thing, I started the Jeffrey Epstein documentary series.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's awful. It's not a bad documentary, but the things in it are goddamn awful.
I'm sure.
Sickening. But, yeah, no, it's really informative and a lot of stuff I didn't know about.
Ooh. Would you recommend it?
Yeah, I would recommend it, but you got to know what you're getting in for.
Okay.
Like, content warning after content warning. It's
Fair
just
enough,
like, if you feel uneasy about those types of things, then do not watch it. Just, like, read about it, I guess. But, like, the interviews are really horrifying and, it gets really serious. But that's basically my week. But you also did another thing this week, which I guess is going to be our first topic. Why don't you introduce it?
Which one?
Batman.
Oh, yeah, our main topic. This, one of our main topics.
One of them, yeah.
Yeah. We wanted to talk about the Dark Knight trilogy, the Christopher Nolan Batman movies.
Yes.
And yeah, I watched all of them last night in one go as like a 7.5 hour movie.
And I have not seen them since they came out.
And so, they're very fresh in my mind, but they're also, because I watched them all at once, they're a little muddled.
Sure, yeah.
Like, earlier I was thinking about somebody's speech, and I thought it was like something Bane had said, but it was actually like Carmine Falcone from
Batman Begins?
In Batman
Oh
Begins.
My God.
It was a speech he had, and it was a great speech. It was when he first walks in, way before he's Batman, and he's just like, I'm not afraid of you. And
to Bruce Wayne?
Bruce Wayne says that to
okay.
Falcone, and
yeah.
Falcone pulls a gun on him. And he's like, there's a judge over there, there's a police officer over there, and there's a congressman over there, all in my bar, and I will not hesitate to put a bullet in your head in front of all of them.
Yeah, he probably owns all of them. So.
That's what he's saying. He's like, that's power you can't buy.
Yeah.
That's the power of fear. And it's a really great speech, but I genuinely, this morning when I woke up, thought Bane had said it. And I was imagining it in his voice.
That's great.
But no, I'd say we'll do it like the way we did the Matrix, like on a scale 1 to 10 for all of them as one.
Yeah, as a trilogy. What do you think of the trilogy as a whole?
I'd give it I think an 8.5. like all together.
That sounds about right to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think from memory, I'd give it an 8. Yeah. I think as everyone thinks, well, actually, no, that's not true. Some people really love Dark Knight Rises, but I do think it was the weakest of the 3.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a huge Batman Begins guy. I think that might be my favorite of all of them, but I also haven't watched them in a long time.
That's fair. I think you'll if you rewatch them, you'd probably still feel the same way. However, Batman Begins, like getting to watch them like all in a row was great because I could see Christopher Nolan getting better at making action movies.
Yeah, getting like more confident in the craft of like what he's making.
Exactly. Like the fight scenes in the first one, some of them are good, but a lot of them are muddled and blurry.
Right.
And like the second one, they're clear, and the third one, they're great.
Right. Yeah.
You know, they're very cool. Like there's a great scene with Joseph Gordon-Levitt where he's just watching Batman take on 5 or 6 people.
I do love that character. I think Dark Knight Returns probably has the best side characters because other than like Dark Knight, because I really like Harvey Dent in that. But I love Catwoman in Dark Knight Rises. I think she's awesome. Anne Hathaway's so good in that.
She's fantastic. Yeah, a lot of the side characters are great. However, there's a point where the only reason it's in the Dark Knight Rises. The only reason why they don't kill off 2 side characters is just for plot reasons later.
Plot armor?
Yeah, because exactly.
Yeah.
Because Bane and Talia they don't know it's Talia yet. But they need her handprint, which she can do anyway. But they need Lucius Fox's, so Morgan Freeman's there, and another member of the board. And Bane keeps yelling at them like, we need your thing to activate this. And I thought it was going to be a key or something. Because they're all arguing like, no, we're not going to do that. But it's a handprint. So Bane could just kill them. And put their hands
that's
on.
true, and just like cut their hand off. Who cares?
That's all they need. Exactly. He's killed many people throughout that movie, and the only reason that
he blew up a whole stadium, right?
He killed a lot of players.
Right.
That's actually a great shot.
Yeah. No. That's like a huge trailer shot too. Yeah.
The one football player who survived was running to get a touchdown, and when he made it, he turned around and it was just gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that was so good.
Yeah. That's horrifying.
It's awful. Yeah. That was no, I think The Dark Knight Rises, I think I like them all equally.
Right.
I think they're all about the same for me.
Why do you think that?
I think all their villains are just as strong as each other, but for completely different reasons.
Right.
I like it, and they could all mess with Batman in completely different ways.
Okay, yeah.
You know, Ra's al Ghul has the fact that he trained him, and he can get into his head in that way. Mm-hmm. And then Scarecrow has his gas and has like a fascinating...
I love Scarecrow.
He's great.
Yeah,
and he's
Cillian Murphy's so good in that.
The only reoccurring villain in all 3 of them.
Yeah, I love in Dark Knight Rises, and he's the judge.
He's the judge, and I love him in The Dark Knight, which when I had first seen The Dark Knight...
I don't remember him in Dark Knight.
He's at the very beginning. It's great. You remember... There's that it's from that scene that has that famous line, "I'm not wearing hockey pads."
No, I don't remember that at all. No. Was that in the beginning of Dark Knight?
Beginning of The Dark Knight.
And Bruce says that?
Yeah, Batman says that. Okay, so there's a if you remember from Batman Begins, Scarecrow was selling drugs that were laced with his Scarecrow toxin.
Right, yeah.
And at the beginning of Dark Knight, because at the end of the last one, they had no idea where he went. He disappeared.
Okay, yeah.
And
how does he get defeated again? Like Batman defeats him, obviously.
Batman defeats him. As actually at the end, it's Rachel Dawes that defeats him.
Oh.
Because she at first Batman messes with him by giving him the Scarecrow toxin.
Yes,
and he sees Batman as this horrific bad creature.
Yeah, that part's awesome. Yeah,
there's blood dripping out of his mouth. Yeah, it's fantastic. But once the chaos starts, and the League of Shadows has like the Scarecrow gas everywhere, and people are just going nuts. He is on a horse riding around, and
Scarecrow,
yeah, and it's great. It's fantastic.
That's so.
And he's
funny.
like, "There's nothing to fear but fear itself." It's great,
and I'm on a horse.
Exactly, and Rachel Dawes is protecting the small child.
Okay, yeah.
And he gets too
Is
close.
this not Maggie Gyllenhaal, right? That's this before?
Yeah,
Because she was replaced by Maggie Gyllenhaal,
yeah, it was
right?
Katie
Tom Cruise's
Holmes.
Wife. Yeah.
Yep.
Not Tom Cruise's wife anymore. But.
Yeah. And she just pulls out a taser and tases him right in the face. And he's just screaming in pain as he like disappears off screen.
Oh, it's amazing.
It's great.
That's so good.
But at the beginning of The Dark Knight, he is selling those drugs still.
Right.
And basically, like, a guy's just like, you gave us this shit, and now look at my customer. And it's a guy just screaming about crazy nonsense.
Uh-huh.
And he's just like, well, I told you my drug would take you places. I never said it'd be places you wanted to go.
He's like a snake oil salesman.
Exactly, yeah. And suddenly, Batman shows up.
Oh, no.
But like 2 or 3 Batmen show up.
What?
And they all have shotguns. You don't remember this?
Oh, no.
No.
I told you, I haven't seen these movies in a long time.
When one pulls a shotgun, Scarecrow's just like immediately like, that's not him. And then Batman shows up and takes care of the drug dealers, Scarecrow, and the fake Batman with shotguns.
Amazing.
And they're all tied together. And then like what? And he's just like says something along the lines of like, I'm not deranged, and Scarecrow's like, that's not my diagnosis.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
And then there's that moment where one guy who dresses up as Batman is like, well, what's the difference between me and you? And Batman's like, I'm not wearing hockey pads.
That's pretty funny, man.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
It's a good opening.
Yeah, that's
all
great.
of those movies.
Is that in the parking garage and it's like a loop down?
Yes.
Okay. I remember that.
Yep, that's exactly what it is. No, that's so solid. And then the Joker is great. And that's what I was about to get to. Like, the Joker can mess with him psychologically. He can outsmart him in certain ways. And the obsessiveness between him in that movie when he's just like, when I discovered you, that was it. Like, it's great. And Bane is different than all of them, and just because he's just raw strength and could just beat him down.
And he was born in the shadow.
Molded by it. Oh, God. And that's also great. That twist, how you were meant to think that he was actually born in the shadow, but he wasn't. You never actually found out how he got there. Because that story was about Talia. She was the one who was born in the pit. Yeah.
Right.
You never find out how he gets there.
Do you have any theories?
Oh, God. It really... I think the biggest problem with that movie is how little information you have to that pit, because it's not far from Gotham. Yet,
yeah, like Bruce gets there and then he leaves and then he's in Gotham.
He could have been he could have been a mass murderer that they were just trying to get rid of. And somebody said, like, now that Bane's out, it's Bane's pit now. Like, it's his prison. So did he buy it? Like,
he bought it and then he lived in it for a little
bit. He just stayed there. My kingdom. And you know what? I think his voice is fantastic.
Yeah, no. I remember everyone making fun of the voice, but it's pretty good. Speaking of Bane, though, like, have you seen that people are like buying his mask and using that as protection during the pandemic?
No, I love it. That's so good.
It's so stupid.
Like, you couldn't do Batman because it would be protecting everything but the part. Yeah. No, that's great. Yeah, shut up. That's not stupid.
That's funny.
I love that. I'd buy one.
Would you?
I don't know. I have to wear them at work, so probably not.
You just show up with a Bane mask. Be like, what? It works.
You merely adopted the stocking. I don't know.
But yeah, no. What would you say is your favorite one?
Of the three?
Of the three, yeah, because we went through the Matrix ones. We both agreed that the first one was the best. And then we ranked all of them. But what would you think would be your favorite, and what would you rank it?
Oh, okay. See, that's really tough because I genuinely liked watching it all together as one big movie,
as a triple feature,
as like and almost like because it worked. It like every part of it felt like an act,
right? Yeah,
like the first movie did feel like the first act because usually like, you know, you go through your first act and your character starts to develop into what they're going to be.
Right.
And nobody is quite what they are supposed to be until The Dark Knight. you know, because Alfred is not. He's a little hesitant with getting with Batman becoming Batman, but at first he's not at all. Like Batman shows, like Bruce Wayne shows back up. And he's just like, I'm going to be a symbol. I'm going to be something that nobody can stop. And Alfred's like, cool. Alfred's like, that sounds
right on.
That sounds fun. And exactly. He's just like, that sounds like a lot of fun, Master Wayne. Like I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically it. And he all smiles.
Right. Yeah.
And he gets a little more hesitant as it goes, but it's not until the Dark Knight where he's like, you're ruining your life, Master Wayne.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and then, like, everybody is much more established in the next one. Like, I think Jim, I don't know if he's just a lower-level detective or if he's a street cop.
Isn't he captain in the second one?
He becomes lieutenant in the second one,
okay.
and then he becomes commissioner near the end of the second one.
Ah, okay, I see.
Yeah. That was a great moment, too, when Commissioner Loeb died.
I don't remember
that. It was really messed up, because at first he was insulting Gordon for a second. Like basically,
what movie does this happen?
This is Dark Knight.
Dark Knight. Okay.
Joker has set up this situation where 3 people are being targeted at the exact same time.
Okay.
And one of them is Commissioner Loeb. And
is this when the car bomb?
Yes.
Is that what this is?
She is one of them. Yeah. And Gordon goes to Loeb and he's like, "You can't leave this building. We don't know what's up." And Loeb is like, "You know what? You'll probably never figure this out. But as commissioner, I know how to deal with situations like this." And he just pulls
famous last words.
Exactly. Pulls out a bottle of alcohol, like some. It wasn't vodka. It could have been whiskey.
Yeah.
And he pours himself a glass, and he's sipping it. As Jim Gordon figures out that what they're using could have been on glass, so he poisons himself.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Yep. And then he gets his job. Soon after that, right after the guy said, "You'll never be commissioner."
I think Gordon did it.
This is his plan. That's why he waited to say glass until the last minute. He's like, "And glass." Oh.
Like an evil laugh right after he says it.
Just evil. That'd be great. That's how I would have made that movie.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have done a good job with a Dark Knight trilogy like at all.
What, you? A normal person
personally.
who hasn't done anything?
Made a movie? Yeah. Yeah.
I personally think I would do it better.
Yeah. Another person who hasn't made a movie.
Yeah.
You know what? I agree. You'd probably do a better job. But no, I guess if I had to pick one, probably The Dark Knight.
Right.
For nostalgia reasons, really.
Yeah.
Because I watched that movie like 9-10 times when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be a movie, if I got sick and I was stuck at home, I'd throw it on 3 times.
Dark Knight,
yeah.
Wow.
I
Okay.
watched it so many times.
I do think that it does have the best villain. Because, like, Heath Ledger as the Joker is just iconic.
Oh,
like,
he's
you can't
so
beat
good.
it. Yeah. And he was so good. Such a tragedy what happened to him.
Yeah. Of course, yeah. And it's interesting because if he didn't die, I don't think, because the performance is phenomenal anyway, but I don't think that character would have been as looked at as untouchable to fans.
Yeah, because he won the Oscar posthumously, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, the movie hadn't even come out yet.
No, really?
I remember. Well, I guess
at least when he was nominated.
I don't think the movie was out when he died. I think the trailers were out.
Oh, wow. Okay,
yeah,
that's what you're saying.
Because I remember when he died, there was it was all over the news, but they were saying he died promoting the next Batman movie, which I didn't even know existed. Yeah,
he was going to be in the third one.
Well, yeah, actually, there were scripts, but I'm talking about he died. He was dying promoting the Dark Knight.
Ah, I see.
You know,
on the press tour or whatever
exactly.
that. Yeah.
And there were story ideas when they started to have a trial going on during all of Bane's stuff with the Joker.
Right.
That was the first idea, and then he died, so they scrapped all of that.
Wow, man.
Yeah, that would have been interesting.
What could have been, right?
Yeah, and they don't say it in the movie, but in the novelization, they say what happens to the character in The Dark Knight Rises.
What happens?
He is the sole occupant of Arkham Asylum.
Whoa.
Yeah. Which I like. If you can't use
as
him.
in there's orderlies there or no one's
people
there?
are there to take care of him,
okay.
but he is the only prisoner in Arkham Asylum. Yeah, which I thought was interesting. No, I would pick that one. And I think, and I love the Marvel movies. We both do.
Yes.
But I think like the MCU kind of ruined the progression that superhero movies could go.
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
Because I love the fact that like 1, 2, 3, this character's done.
Right. Yeah.
He was in 3 movies. They completed his story arc. He is now happy.
Mm-hmm.
And like his story is over.
Yeah.
And he's got a replacement of sorts. Which, you said you like that character a lot.
Which one? What are you talking
Joseph
about?
Gordon-Levitt.
Oh yeah, no, I really liked him. I just like Joseph Gordon-Levitt a lot.
Yeah.
I like him as an actor a lot. But I also liked the ending, the twist.
Did you?
I really liked it. I remember watching it and I was like, oh my god, that's so good. It's stupid. I'll admit it's dumb, but
as a kid, that was great. Yeah, no, but I'll tell you the truth though, like he wouldn't use that name though to fight crime.
What would he use?
I don't know. That's the problem.
Because it is his name. He's
not going to use his birth name.
Yeah, right.
Like that would be a.
That's like Batman going by, I'm Wayne.
I'm Bruce. I'm just. Bruce.
Oh yeah, because this is his first name,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Okay, yeah.
I'd love that he drops down like he does like right behind them, and somebody turns around and it's upside down. He's like, I'm Bruce.
Who could it be?
It's just like, oh my god, hi Bruce.
Have you seen all of these memes online of people like making fun of Batman?
Which one?
Like the character itself. It's like Batman. One of them I saw, and I'm not gonna get this right, but one of them I saw is Batman shows up and beats the living shit, breaking bones of Joker's goons who are just trying to feed their family. But when it comes to Joker, he has to play it by the books.
Well, in the trilogy, Batman is responsible for several deaths.
Right, okay.
And that's another thing I like of his progression. In the first one, he's rough, and there are people you could argue would survive.
Sure.
But then, like, I don't like him being like, I won't kill you, but I don't have to save you, and then he just bails.
Who does he do that to?
He does that to Ra's al Ghul.
Right, in the train.
In the train. And Ra's al Ghul closes his eyes and he blows up.
Yeah. I think we had an argument about
that. We did, yeah. I had to like look up the ending just to show you what it was.
What was the argument we were having?
You thought that I thought that constituted as him breaking his rule.
Yes.
And killing someone.
Yeah.
And you thought it didn't because you remembered him more accepting of it. Like he like stood up and put his arms out like waiting to die.
Sure, yeah.
But that's not, he just closes his eyes and then he blows up.
Could he not have jumped out of the train though and done like some crazy grappling hook?
Well, he's not the one with the grappling hooks.
I don't know. He's Ra's al Ghul. Like he's got stuff. He's a ninja.
Yeah, he's a ninja, but he's going like 100 miles an hour. And if he jumps out of that train, he's gonna go splat.
Yeah, fair enough.
There's not a lot he could do. But in the next one, I'd argue that he kills Harvey Dent.
Yeah, because Harvey Dent has Commissioner Gordon's wife and kid.
Yeah, and he tackles him.
He tackles him off the building.
And yeah, and Batman stays like hooked on, like he grabs the edge.
Right.
And Harvey died. Harvey fell to his death.
Yeah.
So like and it's kind of the same thing with Man of Steel. Is I don't necessarily mind that as like a means to the end to an end, but he's a character who constantly says that he doesn't kill people.
Right.
He's got that one rule. And honestly, I almost hate that more than the Batman v Superman killing people. Because at least in Batman v Superman, there's no point where he's like, I have one rule. Like, for all we know,
I guess
he never took that vow. Like, as far as we know?
I get, because in Batman v Superman, he is portrayed as an old Wayne. You know, so it's supposed to be old, he's supposed to be grizzled, and it's alluded to the fact that the Joker murdered Robin.
Yeah.
So maybe he did denounce the rule and was just like, whatever.
I
just don't like Zack Snyder's comments on it.
Which ones?
He basically said that people were complaining and that they need to grow up.
Oh, that one, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, come on, man.
Oh,
people are complaining for a good reason.
Yeah, because he said something along the lines of, if you think your heroes don't do terrible things, And that's true.
It's like you're not making Watchmen anymore. You're making Batman.
And that's true in real life.
Yes.
But superheroes are put on a pedestal because they can be betrayed as perfect.
Yes, that's like the point, right?
Exactly, yeah. And like they are fictional.
Yes.
And that's why people like the Marvel movies, because they're fun.
Wait, we're supposed to have fun during a superhero movie?
No, it's got to be bleak and depressing. Which can work. Like The Dark Knight has fun moments, but those are bleak movies. Like all three of them, like Batman gets his fucking back broken and he's left in a pit underground for like 4 months. And like people get threatened, people's necks get snapped, people get their throats slit. Those are brutal movies, but they're great.
Yeah.
I almost think Batman is almost too quippy for some of the things in that movie.
You think so?
Yeah, but he's great though.
Yeah.
And I love him in The Dark Knight, and I love his relationship with Alfred.
Yeah.
I think that Michael Caine he's
so good.
He's like such a good
Alfred. He's like the perfect Alfred.
Yeah. Where I love it when he's on the boat and Bruce Wayne has to go to Japan. And there's a woman like waving suntan lotion because she needs Alfred to apply it, and Bruce Wayne's like, "Do you need help with anything?"
What movie is this?
This is Dark Knight.
I don't remember this at all.
And he's just, Bruce Wayne's like, "Do you need any help?" And he's like, "Just tell me the Russian for apply your own bloody damn sunlan
Oh my god, this is not in my memory banks at all.
No.
What part of the movie is this?
This is okay. So. At the beginning of the movie, Joker is stealing money from a bank that is actually kind of a front for mafia.
Yeah,
money.
Which may be one of the best opening scenes for a movie.
It's great,
almost ever made.
It's fantastic. It's really smart and calculated, and he steals that money, and then he goes to the people that own that money to be like, all right, well, you know what? I'll kill Batman for you.
Yeah.
And one of those people is Lau, who is also as long as like working with them is a legitimate businessman as well, trying to make a deal with Bruce Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
And that's who. And when shit goes awry, Lau has to go back to Japan because of like things with the Joker.
Okay.
And so because they need his testimony, Batman goes to Japan and brings him back to America.
Did you watch a different movie than I did?
That happens. It's a small segment.
Wow, okay.
But that happens.
That's hilarious.
He has to get like special like equipment from Lucius Fox for it. Yeah, and he invades the building. Lucius Fox has to go in there with him.
Right.
You don't remember that?
None of it.
Like he puts
none of it.
He puts his cell phone in there like when he walks in because they don't allow cell phones.
Okay.
He puts his cell phone like in the thing they grab from and they put it in a lockbox.
Yeah.
And he goes up and he talks to Lau. And Lau's just like, I'm glad we can continue our deal here. And Lucius Fox is like, well, actually, we're kind of have to break off the deal with the things that you are allegedly doing. And he's just like, a phone call would have sufficed.
Yeah, right.
It's great. Well, and then Lucius Fox pulls out a cell phone.
Right.
And he's just like, I'm sorry. And Lau is just like, we don't allow those here. He's like, I forgot I had it.
Uh-huh.
And then when he leaves, the guy's like, don't you want your cell phone? He's like, no, I never put it away. And it was just like a device that Bruce Wayne needed there to, like, I think it was to turn off all the security cameras. So he could grab them and go. I can't believe you don't remember any of that.
No, I don't remember that. Ooh, sorry.
No, it's fine. It was only like 8 minutes. A 2.5 hour movie.
Right.
But, I don't know. Which one would you say is your favorite? We got on a big tangent.
Well, I've always said that I'm a big Batman Begins guy. I think it is one of the best origin stories out there.
I can see that.
But thinking about it, even though I don't remember, I guess, a lot of it, Dark Knight, I do think Dark Knight has the most compelling villain. Mm-hmm. And Heath Ledger is just so good, man. And like all the situations, like the two boats that have to like blow one of the other ones up to survive. Like that's so cool and like such a good like moral conundrum. And so yeah, I think what I would do is I'd probably give Batman Begins like an 8.5, and then probably give Dark Knight like a 9.
Okay.
And then maybe like a 9.5. Honestly, I don't know. But and then like give Dark Knight maybe like a 7.5 and 8. You know, I think it's a great trilogy. Like I don't think there's a bad movie in that trilogy.
No. I think Dark Knight Rises gets too much flack.
Yeah, and some people think it's the best of the 3.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've seen that opinion online.
Fair enough. It's got some really good stuff in it.
Yeah.
And nobody ever gives Batman a happy ending.
No.
It's nice to see that.
Do you think that's real, the ending? Like, do you think it's in Alfred's mind, or do you think it's real?
I think that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
I want to believe it's real.
Well, they set it up to be real because Lucius Fox finds out at the end that the autopilot's fixed, and it was fixed by Bruce Wayne.
Right.
Bruce Wayne told him.
Was Catwoman there at the end of that too?
Yeah.
Okay.
She went with him. So presumably he jumped out before it blew up and found his way back and found her, and they left.
He used the Bat Speeder.
Yeah, the Bat Boat.
The Bat Boat.
But that's the thing as well is he would have no money. So
that's true, yeah, unless he had offshore accounts.
He could have, but a big thing about that movie is how bankrupt the company has gotten because of like the plot, because of everything, and he is also broke.
Right.
There's a point where his power turns off.
Right.
Because of how little money he has.
I bet he like money laundered something and like in Switzerland accounts.
You know, he probably became a bank robber.
You know what? Probably. He could do it.
He became a bank robber and a mass murderer.
Went across Europe just like wrecking havoc.
He's like, well, I've done my good deed for the last 8 years.
Time to repent.
I'm getting what's mine.
Yeah.
That's awful. I'd watch that movie.
Yeah, no, that's great. And Christian Bale, like we haven't talked about Christian Bale at all.
As Batman.
And how good he is as Batman.
He is good. The voice is silly.
Yeah, but what are you going to do? And Chris Nolan wanted to do it grounded. And I get that. I don't really know what else he would do for the voice. I guess you could have done the Zack Snyder route and had it be a microchip in the neck that like does like a weird voice thing in the cowl, you know?
I think every Batman does something with their voice. And I don't think they have to. I think they could just use their normal voice. And I hope that's what Robert Pattinson does.
Right, yeah.
I really do. Because it's not most people, maybe do something with your voice if you're going up against somebody that knows you personally. But
yeah,
other than that,
because an average goon, like they're not gonna know. Well, I mean, they'll know of Bruce Wayne, but they're not gonna analyze his voice while they're getting the shit kicked out of him. You know?
And he usually doesn't talk while he's beating the crap out of people.
That's true. He could just not talk.
Exactly, and he talks to his villains
and not do quips.
But. And that's also the thing is if he talks to the Joker, the only time the Joker would ever be able to make that connection is if he kidnapped Bruce Wayne.
Right.
And then Bruce Wayne could make the active choice to not sound like that.
Yeah.
Or just not talk.
What if Robert Pattinson as Batman speaks in a British accent?
The Batman?
The Batman, but like Bruce Wayne is American. But Batman does a British accent.
I think I'd be okay with that.
I'm saying it as a joke, just so you know.
No. I know you are. But I think that would work if it was reversed.
So Bruce is actually British.
If Bruce Wayne, like the Wayne family was British. And Bruce was British. And
maybe even just like his mom was British or something like that.
And he has a British accent, but Batman has an American accent.
Yeah.
I think that could work because that would add an element to people not realizing it's him.
Honestly, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that at all.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting. I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, me too. What is it? Colin Farrell is the Penguin.
Colin Farrell is the Penguin. Andy Serkis is Alfred.
So good. I can't wait for his Alfred.
And I don't think they've said anything else about...
I think they've hinted at a Riddler.
Well, they've said that it's going to be... I believe it's set in Arkham Asylum.
Really?
And I believe so. They're going off the Long Halloween.
Okay. I'm unfamiliar with that.
I know very little bits about it, but apparently because of that, people have been speculating that we're going to see a ton of villains, but probably all in small capacities.
Ah, right.
And, there's going to be a main villain and probably a side villain, but we're going to see like a bunch of people. So that could be fun, I think.
So you think it's going to be like the Penguin is like the mob boss and he's sending like little like smaller time guys after him?
It could be, yeah. Right. Or like employing another villain to fuck with him.
Sure.
That'd be fun. Like I would love him walking around Arkham Asylum.
Yeah.
Having to fix traps that the Riddler set up.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
That'd be a lot of fun, yeah.
That'd be really fun. So about the Joker, do you think Heath is the best Joker?
Is this counting animated stuff?
No.
Just live action?
Just live action.
I'd say yes, but I don't think any of them are bad.
Right.
Even the Jared Leto one, I didn't think was necessarily bad. I thought he could have been great had we had more of an idea of who the character was.
Yeah, sure, because he's just crazy man.
Exactly, he's just a madman. I loved how he changed his outfit in almost every scene. I thought that was very, very interesting.
Yeah, and Jared Leto did get fucked over during that movie.
David Ayer has been very outspoken lately about his cut.
Right. Well, Snyder got a cut. He's like, "Where's my cut?"
Well, that's the thing is, I think that he is doing that because he's in talks
for Suicide Squad,
for like a David Ayer Suicide Squad cut. Like after that,
yeah, I would not put it past the DC and Warner Brothers, because honestly, to right their wrongs for the Suicide Squad, because well, not everyone hates Suicide Squad. There's people out there who do like Suicide Squad. But if they are like, hey, we have a different cut, this is the cut that you should have seen, like, that's big advertising, and I feel like a lot of people will watch that, just like a lot of people want to see Snyder.
It would, yeah, exactly. It would make a lot of sense, too, because they had a lot more connections in their original forms. Like, all the things attacking them throughout Suicide Squad were supposed to be parademons from Justice League.
Right.
And they aren't, because, like, last minute.
Yeah, what is
changes.
it, like goo men? Like,
it's weird goo men with like 100 eyes.
No, it's so
maybe
bad.
that's just the way I interpreted it, because it's not good looking.
No.
And Will Smith has this great moment where he jumps on a car and he shoots. It's very boring.
It is.
And I remember thinking that before that movie came out, I was thinking that he's just going to be Will Smith. It's not going to be like an original Deadshot take on the character. But he is one of the better parts of that movie.
Yeah, I think he's like the heart of it, basically.
Him and Harley Quinn, Harley Quinn was apparently supposed to be the main character. Like, the beginning of the movie was going to be the flashback scenes we see with her, only they weren't flashback scenes.
Right.
They were going to be like her treating the Joker and for like the first half an hour of the movie, and then him breaking her, and then she ends up in maximum security prison, where she becomes part of the Suicide Squad.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And the ending, the Joker was going to come back.
And save her?
No, it was going to be a little different.
Okay.
Because he blows up. Like, he's in the helicopter and shit.
Right.
And then at the very end, he shows up in the SWAT uniform and he's fine. He was going to show up during the last battle with the ultimate villain.
Right.
With a live grenade, and half his face was burned from the helicopter crash.
Oh.
There's images of that you can find online.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And
so that was a reshoot, basically? Or
yeah,
they
it
just
was
didn't edit it in?
He either he was edited completely out of the scene, or it was all reshot.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, and he apparently he was going to make a deal with Enchantress.
Okay.
To be like, kill these people, or let me kill these people, and let me be the Prince of Gotham when you take over the world, kind of thing. And it was going to be completely different. And so I'd love to see that.
Do you think it would have helped that there's more Joker in it?
Absolutely. If they fleshed him out more, love him or hate him, it would probably be more satisfying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't like his tattoos, but
or his grill.
I thought they should have been like half finished tattoos.
Sure.
Or scars.
Yeah.
I think scars made more sense. I don't mind his grill, because Batman would have punched his teeth out.
That's fair. But no, I understand what you're saying about the tattoos, because they're like relatively well done tattoos.
Mm-hmm.
If it was just like scribbles on him and stuff, I feel like that'd be a lot better. Because Joker's gonna go down to like a nice tattoo shop and
exactly
and get like a really big piece.
Like that entire mouth on his hand. He has. Yeah, like I can't imagine him sitting down just for the whole thing.
Yeah, I know, right? Like what?
Getting that done. And if they were like all half finished, or like filled or scars, like I said.
Yeah.
He does seem like the person, that version of the character who might think like, you know what would look great on my arm and just carve it in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that would have made more sense to me.
Do we get out of the arc with Bruce with Ben Affleck Batman? Do we get any interaction between him and Jared Leto Joker?
Technically, we do.
On top when he goes on top of the car.
Yeah, when he's on top of the car. But we have He's gone when the car crashes, and then Batman just punches Harley Quinn.
I remember seeing that movie, and everyone laughed when that happened
because nobody expected it.
Yeah, and he's boom.
And he would do that.
Yeah, sure.
Because like she just tried to kill him.
But it's so comical.
It is funny. Every character in that was gonna have a much more flushed out backstory.
Yeah.
Like Killer Croc, who I absolutely could not believe they got
the Oscar
for. It wasn't a costume design.
It was either costume design or makeup.
Killer Croc looks like he was covered in molasses, and then they threw granola on him.
Yeah, I don't remember what else was up for makeup or costume or whatever they did, but yeah, man,
it's crazy.
Oscar-winning Suicide Squad,
and he's half the size he should be.
Yeah, he should be huge.
I mean, you could make that work though, but he's not ferocious.
Yeah, he's just a dude in a hoodie.
He's just a dude in a hoodie with sharp teeth.
Yeah.
But I like that movie. I didn't hate it like a lot of people did, and the villain is pretty much nothing.
I think I thought it was bad.
That's fair.
I don't know if I hated it, but like I thought it was bad.
I don't know if I hate any of those DCEU movies besides Justice League.
No, I think the best one is Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman?
And do you agree, or do you think Man of Steel is your favorite?
I haven't seen Wonder Woman. Man of Steel is without a doubt my favorite.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen Wonder Woman in years. It could be the best made one. I remember really enjoying.
We saw it together. Do
yeah.
you remember that?
Oh yeah, we did. Yes.
Yeah.
Like it was the first 2/3 of it were very engaging.
Yeah.
And then it becomes like Zack Snyder.
Yeah. The ending isn't great.
It's
But Gal Gadot and Chris Pine. Chris Pine's so good in that movie.
He's great.
Yeah.
You want to know what my favorite part of Wonder Woman was?
Tell me.
You remember the villain? It was the guy with the mustache. Like
yeah.
He was that guy. He was Lupin, I believe, in the Harry Potter movies.
Yes.
When we first see him, he's just a guy. He's like somebody who gives them a job.
Yeah.
And he's got this mustache, a very like of the era mustache.
Like
1915 kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's revealed that he's Ares. And then it cuts back to like 3,000 years beforehand, and he still has that mustache.
Oh, God.
I'd like to think that he just waited till it was in style.
Or he set the style.
He set the style,
He was the fashion icon.
He just got sick of no one else having it. No, I don't mind him. And that's the thing. We might end up getting like a Birds of Prey cut at some point.
You think so? Wow.
Because after David Ayer got like a little riled about it and saying like it's just not the version of the movie that I made. The director of Birds of Prey said, "I know exactly what you mean."
Wow, because I felt that movie was very much. 'Cause we'll get to it later.
Stylized,
but yeah, stylized and exactly what the director wanted. Because it came across, even though we're going to talk about it later, but I did feel like it had a voice behind it. I didn't feel like it was a marketing product.
Yeah, the only thing I'll say about it now is it does feel like there's a voice behind it, but I feel like there's missing pieces.
Sure.
But we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But I guess last words for the Dark Knight trilogy.
Final words for the Dark Knight trilogy. Great trilogy. One of the well, I don't know if it's one of the best out there. It's a really good trilogy. Did it come out before or after Inception? I'm trying to place
I think
where
Inception was in between
Dark Knight and Rises.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, because Inception was 2010.
Was it?
Yeah.
Wow, I can't believe those movies are that old at this point.
I was thinking about that yesterday. Like I was like,
because they seem modern. Like just thinking about them.
They do. Well, they feel modern.
Yeah.
The closer you get, like, it must have been weird because The Dark Knight comes out the same year as Iron Man.
Really?
2008.
Yeah, because I was thinking about Iron Man because I'm trying to picture where in the Marvel stuff, and to me, Iron Man seems a little bit dated.
I think comparatively, yeah.
Yeah.
But
it could just be the style of it.
and it's CG heavy.
Iron Man.
Yeah, and it doesn't look bad, but
No.
it does look it's starting to get old looking.
Yes,
and
compared to like Endgame or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and Dark Knight is it has CG in it. Like I believe, I'm sure some of it's practical, but Two-Face's face. Like when he becomes
it's so
Two-Face,
good.
And it's CG. It's definitely got CG on it. It looks fantastic.
Yeah.
It's crazy, and you can see blood on his pillow when he's in the hospital, just from like him being there. It's great.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, and I think The Dark Knight will hold up more over years. Although it kind of overshadowed Iron Man when it came out.
Oh, I believe that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the whole because I think. Well, obviously, everyone talks about the problem with Marvel is the villains.
Yeah.
Like, so was Jeremiah Stane? Was that who was the villain of Iron Man 1?
Obadiah.
Jeff Bridges. Obadiah, thank you.
Jeremiah.
Stane,
yeah.
That's his brother.
Obadiah.
Yeah, no, I think it comes down to the villains because even though I love both the protagonists, Christian Bale as Batman and Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, I think it comes down to who they're up against, and it's just like Heath Ledger's a force of nature. Like, he is so in his craft and so good in that movie.
I was just thinking of when that deleted scene in Iron Man that we watched when Jeff Bridges just kind of had to pretend to fall. He just waved his arms as he could and screamed. No, that's a completely fair. And I don't. Jeff Bridges is one of my favorite actors.
Yeah, totally.
And I think he's good in that movie. But it's funny because The Dark Knight Rises would come out the same year as The Avengers.
Oh,
and then the Avengers would
overshadow
that.
Rises,
Yeah, very much so. Very, very different movies.
Yeah.
And The Avengers, I think, will be timeless.
Yes, I think when I don't know if it'll be in film history books, but I think when we show our kids the Avengers, at least I think that's what I would do if I had children, is just be like, this was a cultural revolution. This basically started because I think before Avengers, people thought of the Marvel movies as kind of niche. Like, it was only a few people talking about Iron Man, few people talking about Captain America. But once Avengers came out, it was like a cultural reset. And then comic book movies were kind of like the in stuff right now. And then after like Disney bought them, and it's like, I think you can't go anywhere inside of like a clothing store without seeing a graphic tee of like Captain America's logo or
true.
Iron Man's face.
That's a good point. Yeah, well, but that started with The Dark Knight as well.
Yeah,
after
totally.
that, there was nothing but Joker T-shirts.
Yeah,
and all of that, which there wasn't that for Batman Begins, which I think is interesting.
Yeah, because there's not really, I guess the most iconic image from Batman Begins is either the cowl or Scarecrow's mask.
Yeah, that's true. But if I went on Amazon, I bet you could find a lot of toys for Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
I mean, I could figure this out in a second by looking it up, but I think it would be difficult to find a Scarecrow toy.
I mean, I will say, there was the Batman Begins video game. Did you ever play that?
No, but I knew about it. Was it good?
I loved it.
What did you?
It was. I don't know how good it holds up, but like back when I had my PS2, that game was so much fun, and it kind of started the fear meter that all the Arkham games have going later for it, where you're in the shadows and you're trying to get the people scared.
Oh.
And in Batman Begins, you do the same thing, where if you're locked in a room with guys, you throw stuff at like a boiler, and the boiler starts like going off, and the more you can see their heart rates, and the higher they are, the more likely they'll like miss their shots at you, and you can come in and just like knock them out.
That's cool.
Yeah, no, that game was awesome. And then I don't think there was video games for Dark Knight or Dark Knight Rises.
There isn't, which is weird. But that's the same thing with the Avengers.
Yeah,
there was a game for all of the movies until the Avengers.
Yeah,
Iron Man 2, Captain America, Thor.
Yeah,
and the Incredible Hulk.
Right.
Did you play any Superman games?
I did play a little Superman Returns.
Did you? That's the only one I was going to bring up. That's funny.
But I don't really remember it that well.
I think that game had an excellent premise. a poor execution because you didn't have a health bar.
Right, it was the city meter,
The city
right?
had a health bar.
Yeah.
That was genius. I thought that was great. But then it just became nonstop.
Right.
And like almost impossible to keep up with.
Yeah.
Meteors would like drop from the world, and you have to stop Metallo on the other side.
Right, because was it levels or was it just an open world where shit just happened?
I think it was a little bit of both.
Okay.
Like you went to levels, and there was side stuff that you could do.
Right.
But like the levels just were relentless. I could never like I got through the prologue, and then I started the
Would this be like PS2 or
PS2, yeah. And I'd play the first level, but like when you talk to, I think it's Mr. Mix Pitalik you have to talk to. You know who that is?
No.
He's this weird guy from like the fifth dimension who comes around and causes mischief.
Okay.
And you talk to him, and then the first level starts, and I would be doing it for like 45 minutes, and it's still the first level wouldn't be over. It would just relentlessly hammer more people, and I never got to the next one.
Wow.
Ever. Like,
huh.
I put it in occasionally and try.
What's your favorite superhero video game? Do you have one?
Ooh, well, I've been playing through all the Arkham games recently.
Right, yeah.
It's hard to beat that first one, Arkham Asylum.
Yeah, that was the only one I 100%ed.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the new Spider-Man PS4 game is
Oh,
also,
wow, yeah, I
that's
wasn't even
fantastic.
thinking about that.
God.
I also 100%ed that game. But that one's, I feel like, is really easy to 100%.
Yes, it is. And so is Arkham Asylum, really.
Yeah.
Unless you're doing all the challenge maps, but that's different.
Right, yeah.
I don't know. I used to play Spider-Man on the N64 constantly as a kid, and going back to it now, it's awful.
Really?
It is one of the worst games. They're really cool cameos.
Oh, is that the game where the city is like covered in fog? So
yes.
I loved that game.
Yeah.
I played it on my PS1.
Play it now.
Oh God, I don't want to.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I have so many fun memories, and there were so many cool things, like little like things. If you're a fan of Marvel stuff, you'll notice. Like there's just one moment where Ghost Rider is going up and down buildings in one of the cutscenes.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's crazy. And there's also a what if mode where you can make tiny choices that will kind of change the game as it goes.
Right.
And that's nuts for an N64 game.
Wow, I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, it's crazy. I still remember the cheat code to get everything.
Nice.
Yeah, eel gnats.
Spider-Man 2 was really great. Raimi's.
Yes.
I loved that game.
That was a fantastic game.
Do you remember when you had to deliver pizzas and you couldn't flip or anything
I
like
still
that?
have that music stuck in my head.
Oh, I don't even remember the music. Is it like Italian music?
Yes, it's very Italian music. that plays while you swing around the city delivering pizzas. It's still there. I can imagine it right now, like swinging around that city.
That's so cool.
I hated doing that because I was not good at it.
Yeah, yeah.
So I had to do it all the time to try to beat it, and I just couldn't.
I'm trying to think of anything else
for
superhero games.
Because there are a lot of bad ones.
There's a lot of bad ones. Yes.
There's so many bad ones. I'm really looking forward to the Avengers game.
Yeah, whenever that comes out.
Yeah, that'll be forever.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the thing is that like they're encouraging you to play as every different character and try new things. But I'm just gonna play as the Hulk the entire.
Yeah, because why wouldn't you?
Yeah, that's
or I guess play as Thor the entire time.
And I'm sure a lot of people will feel the same way about Iron Man.
Sure.
Apparently, there is going to be Captain Marvel, which could be fun.
That could be interesting.
Yeah, but all I want is Hulk. I want a good game with Hulk in it to play again. Because there are fun elements. The last one's like Incredible Hulk was fun, but it wasn't.
Was that the Eric Bana one?
Eric Bana is just Hulk.
Oh, do you remember that game?
Yes.
I loved that game because of the stealth sequences where you were just Bruce Banner sneaking around and stuff. I was
so bad at every part of that game. Did you ever play Hulk Ultimate Destruction?
I did. Yes, I did.
I barely played any of it, but I do remember that you could sneak. If you
Hulk?
If you held a truck above you, you could just walk under it like you were the truck.
What? And then helicopters couldn't see you or
yeah,
something
exactly.
like that?
People wouldn't notice you. And you could see his feet just kind of pitter-pattering
God,
under the
that's
truck.
So good.
It's great.
I just remember that's the game where you could like make fists, right, from cars. You could like smash a car.
That's the Incredible Hulk. That was the Edward Norton one.
Really?
Yeah, because he does it in the ending of the movie.
Oh.
He grabs
interesting.
He grabs a car, breaks it in half, and he uses them as like gloves.
A lot of Hulk games.
There are a ton of Hulk games.
Wow.
Because Hulk games, I think, do better than the movie counterparts.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Does it?
I mean, because... Okay, so to have a decent Hulk movie would be like really... I really like Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah, he's great.
As Bruce Banner and Hulk. But I guess, a Hulk movie is kind of hard to pull off, huh?
I think you could do it. I like the Edward Norton one.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
A lot of people don't, but it sets up the Avengers quite well. In that sense, like you could even involve that first one, Hulk, because it ends with him going to Brazil, and the Incredible Hulk starts with him in Brazil.
I don't even remember the Eric Bana Hulk.
It's not good.
Yeah,
like
Ang Lee, right?
Ang Lee. Yeah, it all comes down to like the Hulk, the radiation they get for like the gamma rays, I believe, came from like jellyfish.
What?
Yeah, it's weird. It's very strange.
That is super strange.
I think you could do it right. The problem now is Universal.
Yeah,
won't let them make another one, but I think you could do it. You have Mark Ruffalo, and they're making that She-Hulk show.
Yeah,
which I'm really looking forward to.
That sounds cool.
So you could have them do a team up thing,
mm-hmm.
and a rumor has it he's supposed to be in She-Hulk at least a little bit.
That'd be really cool.
That'd be a lot of fun.
How is she related to Bruce at all?
They're cousins.
They're cousins. Okay.
Yeah. Basically, she got into an accident.
Right.
A horrible, horrible accident. No, probably not that bad, but she needed a blood transfusion.
Right.
And he was the closest person to be able to do that. And it was either he does it or she dies.
Yeah.
So they do it, and she lives, and she gets Hulk powers. But she is also, she can control them.
Right.
And she's not nearly as strong as he is.
And she's a lawyer.
Yeah. Yeah. And Deadpool stole the breaking the fourth wall thing from her.
She broke the fourth wall?
That was her thing.
Wow.
Yeah, way before Deadpool was a character.
Huh.
Yeah. And I can't wait for that show. I wonder if they'll keep that. If they'll she'll break the fourth wall in the show. I would like that.
Yeah,
but
that'd be pretty cool.
Bet you, I guarantee people were like, she's ripping off Deadpool.
Yeah, that'd be kind of annoying. And she probably would do it in a much more smarter way than Deadpool. Because Deadpool just cracks jokes and stuff.
There'd be no dick jokes. I don't think with that character.
Yeah.
All right, I think.
But yeah, Batman.
Yeah, I was gonna say that about wraps up our Batman discussion.
So the next thing I wanted to bring up was one of my favorite genres of movies is horror movies. What do you think about horror movies?
I love horror movies, and this is gonna be really interesting because me and you have completely different ideas of horror movies.
Did I tell you what my favorite horror movie is yet?
Ever?
What I'm going to talk about as my favorite? Because I'm going to mention a few of them, but I'm going to go in depth on one of them.
Is this a movie I am familiar with?
Yes, 100%. You've seen it, definitely.
Oh, it's Midsommar, isn't it?
No, what? I don't even think Midsommar's a horror movie, to be honest. I think it's like a drama.
If this is the big reveal that The Devil's Rejects is your favorite horror movie, I'm gonna be very happy.
No. Okay, so to talk about our interest in horror, I guess we got to start at the beginning. I was always a very frightened kid. I'm
a frightened human being.
I did not like horror movies up until a certain point. And I think that point might have been Paranormal Activity. Well, no, I've seen movies before it, but it might have been something else. But I just
don't worry about it. I understand. That movie scared the crap out of me when I was a kid.
Oh yeah, it's especially going into it, trying to put your head mindset in this is real and all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
I think one of the first horror movies I ever saw in theaters, I think I might have seen Paranormal Activity, was Sinister.
Is that the which one is that? Is that with Ethan Hawke?
Yes, Ethan Hawke watching the snuff films.
Yes, okay.
And that one really freaked me out because I feel like it really delves into the whole internet creepypasta thing, where it's like, hey, watch this video I just took on my phone, and it's like some dude just watching something, and all of a sudden a little thing's in the corner. And it's like, did you see that little thing? That's incredibly scary to me.
Oh, okay. No, fair enough.
What about you? What was like the first horror movie you saw in theaters and stuff?
In theaters?
Yeah, do you remember?
No. Maybe it could have been Anacondas. If I'm honest with you.
Like the first one?
No.
Or is that the second one?
That's the sequel. Anacondas.
Like aliens?
Yeah, exactly. There's Anaconda and then there's Anacondas. And
that's so good.
I believe I fell asleep in the last 5 minutes of the movie.
Sure.
But I was a kid.
Yeah.
My interest probably with anything like that started with when I was 4 years old, because my grandmother didn't know what not to show me. So she put on like the 1990s TV movie It.
Oh God, no.
And like you watch that now and it's not scary.
No, yeah, but to a 4-year-old?
To a 4-year-old, I still, whenever I hear the classical song For Elise, I get goosebumps. Like that gets to me because it's heavily throughout that first part, and like it's there's just a part of my brain that sounds alarms whenever I hear it.
Yeah,
like
the Kill Bill sirens start happening.
Pennywise is after me. That's where it starts, and she would show me a lot of things, like The Thing. When I was
John Carpenter's?
Yeah, when I was a little kid, and I don't remember any of it, but I watched that. And
have you not watched The Thing since?
No.
Wow. I love that movie so much. I love that movie.
I know people hate the prequel, but I might...
Oh, the newer one.
Yeah, I might do a double feature where I watch the prequel and then that one.
Well, would you watch the prequel and then the thing?
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Yes, you got it. That would be so good, because then it's like... Well, because a lot of the stuff that happened with the prequel thing, are you familiar with like what happened with it?
Behind the scenes
stuff.
No, I have no idea.
A lot of it was practical effects, because they wanted to keep it in the line.
Oh, did the studio make them?
The studio made them go over all the practical with CGI, and it ruined it completely.
That's awful.
Yeah,
that's so
sad,
awful.
sad. I don't know the quality of the movie because I haven't seen it, but
you've never seen it?
I've never seen the prequel. No,
I have seen the prequel, but it was when it came out. I don't remember much.
Sure, yeah. But yeah, did you say what you saw in theaters first?
Anacondas.
Anacondas,
yeah,
right.
But I don't remember anything about Anacondas, and I don't want to revisit Anacondas, and I don't think I'll ever watch it. But I love horror movies. But mostly it's from watching slashers with my dad.
Nice.
I would watch I've seen pretty much every Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
And most of the Nightmare on Elm Streets.
Would you say that's your favorite genre of horror?
Slasher?
Yeah.
No. Because I don't watch them so much anymore. I think the closest that I have would be like Mandy.
Yeah. Is Mandy a slasher?
I
guess it might follows the progression of a slasher.
And it almost has like the main character become
the villain,
the slashing villain at the end. I think the bits with those people that are stuck on LSD,
the demon biker gang.
Yeah, I think all their segments feel very slasher-like.
Totally.
And I have most of those movies I have very near and dear to my heart. Like I love the Rob Zombie trilogy, which I know you hate.
Well, but I don't hate. I dislike.
I love that. Not that first one. I think House of a Thousand Corpses is the weakest one.
And that's the one I like the most.
I think that's very funny. I think it's the most generic out of all of them. And then you get to The Devil's Rejects and it flips the script. And I love that.
Yeah.
Like part of you, maybe not you personally, but part of the audience is rooting for them just because it's framed just the right way.
Sure.
You've started to get to know these not heroes but characters, and as horrible as they say funny things.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I remember watching 3 from Hell with you.
Yep.
And your favorite part was just listening to the characters say stupid shit to each other.
Yeah.
And that's what Rob Zombie does well, which is why I can't wait for him to make. He's making a biopic of he was very famous for wearing that grease paint mustache.
Grease paint mustache?
Yeah.
Are you talking about Charlie Chaplin?
No, but it's that era.
It's that era.
It's almost that same thing. They made a million movies.
Grease paint mustache.
Oh, I'm gonna look it up.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess I'll talk about delving into some of my favorite horror movies, and I'll get to the big one I want to discuss.
You haven't mentioned that yet.
I have not mentioned it.
I
no.
thought it was going to be Paranormal Activity.
It is not. Paranormal Activity is not one of my favorites
fantastic.
at all. Although it is a decent made movie, and it kind of flipped the script on horror movies made by big studios for better and for worse.
Do you think there's much of a difference between that kind of movie and like a found footage movie? Because they're basically found footage.
It's
right?
basically a found footage movie. I'd say that's the genre of horror. But I think my favorite genre of horror, that's kind of tough because I think I really like monster stuff.
Okay.
But at the same time, I really like real world stuff. So, for example, would you consider Green Room a horror movie?
Oh no, because I feel the same way about that you feel about Midsommar.
Oh, you think it's a drama?
It's more of a violent drama than it
okay.
is anything else. Yeah.
Okay. Well, mentioning Green Room, that's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a horror movie or not, but
no, that counts. It's like I'd throw in Wake and Fright. That's,
Wake and Fright. Oh my god.
That's not a horror movie, but it's horrific.
Yes, totally.
In its own way. Which I should have brought that up at the beginning because I've recently rewatched that.
Yeah.
And oh my god.
I'd say that's one of my favorite movies we've watched together. Yeah,
that's
totally.
Great, yeah. It gives you such a.
Well, explain it a little bit because I'm sure a lot of people don't know about it.
Oh yeah, most people don't know about it because it was actually banned for like 20 years.
Right.
Yeah. It's an Australian movie from the 70s, and it's about this guy. He's a teacher. And teachers in Australia are given like a $1,000 bond, so they have to be stuck in a certain location to teach until they pay off that bond, and they can try to get it. So he's stuck in this little town called Tabunda, and school's just out, so he's gonna try to get to Sydney to try to hang out with his girlfriend.
Right.
And he gets to this one small town in the way called the Yebba, and like he thinks he'll spend a little bit of money on gambling.
Yeah.
And this is like a really creepy town. Everyone keeps
well, first he goes to the bar.
Yeah, that's true. He goes to the bar. Well, that's where the gambling starts too, because it's in the back of the bar.
Oh, okay.
He goes to the bar, and the police chief is just giving him drink after drink.
And the bar is packed. Everyone is there.
And like drink after drink after drink, and getting this guy absolutely hammered, drinking with him, and like. Everyone's super nice, but it's just got this creepy tinge to it.
It's like drunk nice.
Exactly.
It's not real nice.
Every time that the police chief finishes his beer, he will stare at the main character's glass until he finishes it.
Yeah.
And then he'll buy him another.
That's horrific.
It is. It's terrifying. It honestly is. That's so creepy.
And then shit goes wrong.
Yeah, he gets involved in. He sees like a very simple gambling game.
Yeah.
And he tries it. And he wins a lot of money.
Yeah.
And then he loses all his money.
Yeah. At first he wins, and then he runs back to his hotel, right?
Yep. And then he's thinking, if I can get just a little bit more, I can pay off my bond.
Yeah.
So he loses all of his money, and he is stuck in this town.
Oh
this
my god!
Awful, gross, dirty town. It's great, and it's horrific in its own way. Like the people he gets stuck with.
Yeah.
And it was banned for 20 years because there's they go
kangaroo hunting.
Yep. And it's actual footage because they went out to film like an actual crew,
which is legal and is needed in the outback because they're so what's the word for it? It's like they destroy the environment.
Yeah, they're an environmental issue, and it's also an overpopulation. Like incredible.
But it's actual footage of them shooting and killing kangaroos, and I think I didn't watch. I think I covered my eyes. Yeah.
And it's also like, just to say, it's a team that it was their job to do so.
Yeah. Yeah. It wasn't like a thing they just did for the movie.
Yeah, exactly. I watched it. Now I've seen it twice, and it's brutal.
Yeah, it's hard brutal. To watch.
And then somebody wrestles one.
Right. And then he slits its throat, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does. It's very hard to watch stuff, but it's a great movie.
That's a good I don't know if it'd be a good double feature with Green Room, but I see what you're saying.
Ooh.
With the horror of Green Room applies to the horror of Wake and Fright.
Oh, very much so.
Yeah.
It's more about this weird social problem.
Yes. That the character finds himself in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Than it is the like any horror aspect of
Yeah.
it. But no, Green Room's great as well. And
I guess I don't know if that's another one I don't know if I would consider a horror movie, The Lighthouse. Where I really love The Lighthouse, but I don't know if that's a horror movie. I think it applies as a drama where a character finds himself in a terrible situation again.
Most of that I'd say is a drama. Because it's only horrific in bits and pieces throughout it. And then the ending, I think, is pretty graphic. Although that bit with the seagull.
Oh, my God, dude.
That was crazy.
That's horrifying to watch.
Yeah, it is because of what's happening, but I was on his side almost, like.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, you're not supposed to do that.
No, of course, like it's bad luck or whatever.
Bad luck to kill a seabird.
Says.
A couple more before I want to name my favorite. Actually, I want to name a couple that also I really like, and then I want you to do the same.
And then you're gonna name.
And then
favorite?
we're both gonna name our number one, and then we're gonna talk about it.
Okay.
So I think another one for me. Would be Alien, because obviously Alien is just...
Oh, Alien's great.
Alien is just so good. The Thing you mentioned before is so good. I love Cloverfield. I'd say...
Oh, yes.
I'd say Cloverfield, the first one, is a horror movie. Even the second one, Cloverfield Lane, is definitely a horror movie. That's another drama a character finds himself in.
But that even that in itself is a horrific situation, being trapped in this bunker with this guy.
Yeah.
That's still a horror movie. And when she gets out, it's even more of a horror movie.
Yeah.
Because there's a fucking
Spoilers.
alien.
It's an older movie.
It's been out for 7 years.
And then I mentioned Cloverfield. I think that's about it before I want to get into my big one. So why don't you mention a few that you really like?
I love the more recent It movies.
It Chapter 1 is so good.
Yeah. Have you soured on It Chapter 2?
I like It Chapter 2, but there's so much vitriol online about people disliking It Chapter 2. And I think the only reason that I like It Chapter 2 so much is because of Eddie and Richie.
Okay.
Yeah, I think those two basically saved the movie.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Really? You think so?
No, not what you're saying, that people hate Eddie and Richie.
I don't think people hate Eddie and Richie. That's just what saves the movie for me.
I thought
as being like, no, I like it. It's a good movie.
That aspect of them, like that reveal at the end, that was great. I love that. It's not in the book either, and I can be a stickler about not doing that
because you're a big Stephen King fan.
I'm a huge Stephen King fan, and that's not in the book, but I think it added something to those characters. Because, like, Richie bagged on everyone, but in that first movie, he bags very hard on Eddie.
Yeah.
Like to a hard extent, and so it makes more sense in the second one when they reveal that. And no, I love those movies.
That might be Bill Hader's best performance
in a movie
for me. Yeah, he's so good in that movie.
He's great. Yeah.
Also Barry, but that's a TV show.
Barry, I haven't seen much Barry. I've seen a few episodes.
That show.
A lot of people love Barry. Yeah. Me and you, like a year or two ago, and another friend of ours, we watched the miniseries of The Stand.
We did, yes, with Jesse,
which has some really horrific moments.
Yeah,
like as campy as it is, but like just them walking on empty streets or streets covered with dead bodies was pretty horrific to look at.
And the new miniseries is coming out, which we're very excited about.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
I am so excited. And that movie, it seems perfectly cast.
Yeah.
That miniseries. Whoopi Goldberg.
Yep.
As Mother Abigail.
Yeah.
That's so good. Let's see. I would like to talk about Midsommar a little bit.
As your favorite?
No, not as my favorite. As just...
Well, we'll discuss Midsommar after
all this.
After all this, yeah.
Yeah, because it's definitely not one of my favorites, but I want to mention Midsommar as a horror movie. But just another small one of mine that I liked, Lost Highway.
Lost Highway.
I would count that as a horror movie.
David Lynch's Lost Highway.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure, yeah.
That movie's horrific.
There's moments in it that are terrifying.
I think that movie has.
Do you think that's his most horror? Would you say that that's the most horror movie of his catalog that you've seen?
That's tough. No, because I was gonna say Blue Velvet, but that's definitely like a drama with violence.
Yeah.
And Inland Empire feels more like a horror movie than
which I still haven't seen.
Yeah, but like The Last Hour feels more like a Lynchian horror movie than most of his other work.
And Laura Dern's weird face.
Yes, her weird twisty face. But no, Lost Highway has, I think, two of my favorite, like, separate villainous performances in one movie. You got Robert Blake doing this like weird stranger guy.
Yeah.
Like who he sees at a party. He's like, I'm in your house right now.
Yeah.
And he's like, call your house. I'm there. And he calls his house and he's like, I told you I was here.
Yeah.
I love that. That's great. And then there's the mob boss is also incredible.
Oh, yeah, when he runs the guy off the road.
He runs the guy off the road, or the phone call.
Right.
When he calls and he's just like, hey, Pete. How you doing, Pete?
Yeah.
And Pete's like, I'm doing good, Mr. Eddie. That's good, Pete.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're doing good, Pete. It's so it's so creepy.
Yeah, definitely.
It's so well done. I loved it very, very much. So yeah. That being said, what's
my number
favorite?
one?
Yeah, what's your number one?
After thinking about it a lot, and I've had this movie on my top 50 list for a while now. I think my number one horror movie of all time is The Blair Witch Project.
Okay.
So I think it's my number one just because it feels so real.
Ah, okay.
I think, because do you know like what the stories are behind how they cast it and stuff like that?
No, I have no idea.
So, the girl and Josh, who's the skinnier guy with the ponytail.
Okay.
When was the last time you saw Blair Witch?
I was a child.
Really? So you haven't seen it?
I was like 8 years
What was your
old.
experience watching it? Were you horrified? Did you not really care?
There
Did you
were
think
bits.
It was okay?
I thought it was too slow because I was like 8. Like I was a small boy. But I
a small boy.
I was, yeah. And I was just like, this is boring.
Sure.
But parts of the end where it picked up, I thought the last 5 minutes were truly horrifying.
It's some of the most horrifying film I've ever seen, honestly. Okay. But so how they cast the film was one guy, and I believe they made it for $250,000, and it has gone on to gross, or no, it was like $5,000 that they made the movie for, and none of the actors got paid. And I believe it's gone on to gross $250 million. So it's like one of the most profitable films of all time. And they cast the two people, Josh, the ponytail guy, and I forget the girl's name. Oh gosh, I forget her name. But and then they cast them doing a normal casting call, and they asked them because basically they wanted to make sure that the people they got had skills in improv. And one of the questions they asked them was, you've been in jail for 7 years. You're supposed to be in jail for 9 years, but you're on parole. Why should we let you get parole?
Okay.
And the woman was cast on her answer, and her answer was, I shouldn't be on parole.
Oh.
Isn't that good?
That's great.
Yeah.
I love that.
So they're cast, and then the other guy, who basically goes crazy throughout the movie, is just some sound guy they found. It was like, you should be in this movie.
That's good.
And he was just like, yeah, okay. And then and then basically they just went through the woods, and the director would fuck with them at night. They basically actually camped out in the woods. They didn't really have a way they were going. When they would wake up, there'd be notes that each of their characters got, and they would read them, and other characters wouldn't know what other characters were going to do. And basically there were like bullet points where this is what your motivation is for today. This is what you're going to do, and this is how we want you to react to certain situations. So all the times when there's actual people yelling at each other, actual like vitriol and actual like madness basically happening is real. All of these people actually went through it. And the beginning is so perfect because I think her name's Heather. I'm going to go with Heather. Heather basically starts off doing a pretentious film school student documentary. She's like, in this town, the Blair Witch has ravaged through, and it's like, and then she talks normal. And she's just like, what the fuck? Like, oh my god, what's happening? And then all of the stuff where it's like they're running out at night, and the whole iconic part of her like filming a part of her face where she's like crying and freaking out was completely real. And what was supposed to happen that night was they were supposed to run out of their tent and look behind them and film what was to be the Blair Witch, because you never see the Blair Witch in the movie. And it was a dude dressed in all white, like just like a white leotard, basically, like even covering his face. So when she's screaming like, what the fuck is that? Like, that's her actually seeing it, but they never got it on camera. So therefore the Blair Witch is never on there. And then eventually the movie ends with Mike leading Heather to the house, which that serial killer who killed kids supposedly lived at. And then it ends with Heather walking downstairs and seeing Mike standing in a corner.
Yeah.
And I guess that's my favorite, just because it's so real and it's so believable. And I don't think I watched I watched it as a kid as well, but I've watched it recently, and I think that I didn't think it was real, but it just like feels so, because obviously the marketing, and one of the first times a movie has ever done this was presenting it as real found footage.
Yes.
And they had a website. They had the actors wipe their IMDb, so it's like they're deceased now and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
that's crazy.
But yeah, no, they went to a lot of work to like make that movie, and I think it really paid off. I totally get why people think it's slow and boring and not scary, but I think in the right mindset and knowing, like, you don't really have to know behind the scenes stuff, but just like if you pose it to yourself to be like, okay, I'm going to get immersed in this movie and believe that these characters are real, I think it's a fantastic horror movie, and it pretty much revolutionized horror movies.
Okay.
Out of that point. But yeah, that's basically my number one horror movie of all time.
I can see it. No, that makes sense. I want to rewatch it. I haven't seen the remake, which a lot of people hate.
Well, so there's the first one, and then there's the Book of the Witch.
The Book of the Witch, I think is.
And it's like a meta movie, apparently.
Yeah, like that movie exists, like the Blair Witch.
Yeah.
And it's like other stuff. World.
I haven't seen that one, but I did see Adam Wingard's new one, which is called Blair Witch. But before, when it was being shown around at conventions like Sundance and stuff like that, not conventions, but what are they called? Film festivals.
Yeah.
It was actually titled The Woods.
Oh.
No one knew that it was a Blair Witch sequel.
That's great.
Until they sat down in their seats and it started happening.
Is it a sequel?
It is a sequel.
Oh.
The main character is the brother of Heather.
Cool.
Who finds a tape out in the woods, and it's of this woman. You don't really get a good look at her, but it's this woman running through a house and like screaming her head off. And then he pauses it at one point while she passes a mirror, and it's like kind of like dark. You can't really see what her face looks like. And he turns to the camera, which is another found footage because he's making a documentary about finding his sister. And he's like, "That's my sister." And the whole thing is them going to go find her.
Okay. Do you like that one? Do you like the sequel?
I do, but mostly just because I'm a Blair Witch super fan.
Okay.
So like, there's moments in it that people. I think the consensus is that it's not good.
That's what I've heard, and I've heard the game is god awful.
Oh, I've played the game. It's not great,
okay.
No, and it's pretty dumb. But it's like just another like walking simulator, you know.
Oh, okay.
But no, the sequel is well, not the sequel. The third one is a decent movie if you're into the Blair Witch lore. There's some good stuff in it. There's some really good character moments. But the thing is, they show the Blair Witch, and once you show what it looks like, it kind of ruins the whole mystery behind it, because it's pretty much your generic like, what do you think a creepy horror movie witch looks like? That's what it looks like.
Yeah. Okay. Was it the same director?
No.
Oh, okay.
Adam Wingard did You're Next.
I never saw You're Next.
Great slasher. Well, like a satire of slashers,
yeah.
I guess you would say.
Which one? What was that about?
You're Next?
Yeah.
It's like a rich family It's like a boyfriend and girlfriend going to this rich family's dinner, like their dinner.
Yeah.
But they haven't seen each other in a long time. And then all of a sudden, like 4 or 5 people break in with animal masks, and they
I think I have seen
they
this.
try to hunt the rich people, but it turns out that the girl is actually a total badass and starts hunting them back.
That's great.
It's awesome.
I think I have seen that. That's cool.
But yeah, that's mine. I love the Blair Witch. What about you?
For favorite?
Yeah, what's your favorite?
I'm torn between two. It's really tough, especially because they are complete opposites.
Let's hear them.
This one's not technically a horror movie, but I dare you to watch it and not feel horrified.
Okay.
2001: A Space Odyssey.
Oh wow, great pick.
It's that movie. I remember watching it. Like I started it at midnight or 1 a.m.
I remember you telling us this in the group chat.
Yeah, I started it and I was under the impression that it was just like, it's a Kubrick movie, so there's probably like a coldness to it.
There's moments, yeah. It's going to be cerebral.
Exactly, yeah. And I had no idea what I was getting into. Like I get to an hour and a half in, and the movie is so slow. Like everything is slow. There are so many shots of just people walking long distances.
Yeah, sure.
And everything takes so long. But that only benefits the movie at the end. Yeah. Because when the really tense things happen, if you didn't pace the movie this slowly, they wouldn't be tense at all. Yeah. Like when he's very slowly like in a little space capsule trying to go to another side of the ship. Yeah. To try to stop Hal from killing him pretty much. It's horrific. And when he has to slowly rip this AI's brain apart basically. Yeah. And that AI,
what are you doing?
Exactly, like what are you doing, Dave? Mm-hmm. Do you think I'll dream? That's horrific. Yeah. And the AI asks the man who is slowly dismantling him if he thinks he'll dream. Yeah. That's crazy. And the ending has like a million different ways you can interpret it.
Yeah, totally.
But the other one is...
oh my God, you know what?
What?
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just remembered the other movie I watched while up in Maine. Yeah? And it has a connection to 2001.
Does it?
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
What connection does that have?
So the Johnny Depp one, when they go to the TV room, do you know what they're watching?
Are they watching 2001?
They're watching 2001. And the monolith, when they send in the candy bar becomes the monolith.
Oh my God!
Because I watched it, and obviously when I was a kid, I didn't know what 2001 was.
No.
When it comes up, I'm like, oh my God, that's 2001.
That's so good. I didn't realize that. That's crazy.
That's so good.
That's
right?
why when I watched 2001, the monolith looks so familiar to me.
It's
like
the candy bar.
That scene, yeah. But the other one's probably Evil Dead 2.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah, dude.
Evil Dead 2.
The only Evil Dead I've seen.
Is it really?
Of the original trilogy.
That's
funny. I've seen the new remake, which I liked.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
It's not the same. It's it's a decent remake of the original one because the original one was straight up horror. Yeah. What made the original one funny was how bad the effects were. Yeah. Like it's the same thing with Alien. Like a person gets ripped apart and suddenly they're just spilling milk out of like their entire body.
Sure. Yeah.
Because that's what they had.
Yeah.
And the behind the scenes is interesting. Like Sam Raimi. For the first one anyway, he didn't have any particular interest in horror. Mm-hmm. It was just easy to market at the time. Yeah. So he made The Evil Dead, and he used his friends, and they got lucky because they knew a dude who had worked on other movies. Yeah. Robert Tapert, who would produce all of the Evil Dead movies.
And did he go on to work with Raimi and other stuff?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
And he's married to Lucy Lawless.
Oh, wow, really?
Yep.
That's awesome.
Which is why he produced, Robert Tapert still, I believe, produced the Evil Dead show.
Okay. Oh, Ash versus Evil Dead?
And
right.
Lucy Lawless was a reoccurring villain.
Oh, wow.
And she's great. She plays Ruby.
Nice.
She's very fantastic in that. But no, Evil Dead 2 is just perfect for me. It's I think the pacing is perfect because they run through the first movie in a flashback sequence in 10 minutes. Yeah. And that's the beginning.
Would you say you could watch Evil Dead 2 without watching Evil Dead 1?
Yes, because they couldn't technically use any of the footage from the first one. Yeah. Because it was copyrighted and they were doing it through a different company. So they just redid it, only instead of him going to the cabin with all of his friends, it's just him and his girlfriend. And they quickly recap all of it in 10 minutes, and it's perfect. It's fine. It gives you all the information you need.
Yeah.
And then when the movie actually starts, it's great.
Yeah, yeah.
It's so good. And
I love that movie.
It's both hilarious because they were heavily inspired by Three Stooges.
Yeah.
And horrific.
Yeah, yeah.
Like when he touches the mirror and it's just his hand goes right through it and becomes like water.
Yeah.
And then somebody comes out of the other side and grabs him.
Yeah.
Oh, so crazy. So good. And how can you beat a fight between a man and his severed hand?
You can't.
You can't.
You give up and lay down. Let it get you.
And he actually, the tricks he does, like when he grabs the back of his own neck.
Yeah.
And he flips forward. Bruce Campbell does that in real life. He probably can't now because he's 55.
Yeah.
But he used to go to conventions, and when he'd walk on stage, he'd just flip himself over.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Bruce Campbell rules.
He's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's unfortunate because there is something Evil Dead coming. We don't know what, but he said he is completely done with the character.
Really? That could be. He could be lying.
Yeah. I think he gets sick of playing it, and then he has no work.
Yeah, because that's kind of Bruce Campbell's thing.
That's what people know him for.
Yeah.
And he directs, and he does other small stuff, and he plays in a lot of things. Like he was in Burn Notice.
I didn't know that.
He was in every episode of Burn Notice.
Wow.
He even had his own spin-off TV movie.
Really?
Yeah.
From Burn Notice?
From Burn Notice.
Wow, okay.
It was called The Fall of Sam Axe or something like that.
Cool.
Yeah. He had his own thing going on. And he even played in a movie, he played himself. It was called My Name is Bruce.
Yeah.
And the idea of it was I believe it was a third world country found him and kidnapped him, brought him to their country because they had seen the Evil Dead and they need him to get rid of a spirit there.
Wait, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Was it good?
I haven't seen it.
Oh,
I just know about it. But I've heard decent things.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, and apparently a kid hands him a chainsaw. And he's just this doesn't work. That's not how it works, kid.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Would you say that is the best of the Evil Dead trilogy?
Evil Dead 2? Yes. Although a lot of people prefer Army of Darkness.
Right.
I cannot, and I love the first hour of Army of Darkness. It's the shortest one. It's hour and 20 minutes. I cannot think of a single time where I haven't almost fallen asleep in the last 10 minutes of the movie.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know what it is, but something about it. And I love the first one. I love the second one. I love most of the third one, and it just kind of gets to me at the end. I think it's the massive claymation battle between people and skeletons,
right?
And it's just so weird.
Kind of just blurs all together.
It does a little bit, yeah. I do love the ending, because there are two endings. There's the ending that they intended, and then the studio was like, "You can't do that. That's too depressing."
Right.
So they put a more Evil Dead ending where he's back where it all started.
Yeah.
Not where it all started. He's working at S-Mart again, the convenience store he works at.
Yeah.
And then they attack him. And it's ongoing. They're like, "Did you say the words right this time?" He's like, yeah, I did, for the most part. And then somebody comes and attacks him. But the original intended ending, because you haven't seen Army of Darkness.
I have not seen the first or the third one, no.
No. So he's stuck in the past.
Okay.
And they hand him this thing so he can get back to his time. It's just this droplets of water, in a little cask kind of thing.
Right.
And they're you go to the secure area, you lay down in the weird coffin-like thing, and for every drip that goes down your throat, you sleep for 100 years.
Oh.
And so they said he needs 7.
Oh,
he needs 7. And when he gets to 4, he goes 4, and then immediately something scurries in front of the cave. So he's worried, and then he goes back to it. 4?
So he's 100 years ahead?
He's 100 years ahead. And when he gets out, the entire, it's wrecked. There was probably war.
Wow.
Yeah.
So apocalypse, basically.
Yep. He walks out, and it's just...
This was the real ending?
This was the ending that they had intended.
I see.
The theatrical ending is he goes back to normal time and they attack him.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Before they remade the original one, Actually, I think it was after. Yeah, it was after they remade it. And it was before they made the show, because this eventually became the show and it became its own thing. When they were going to write an Evil Dead 4, he had started writing it, but he started writing it from the perspective of two different Ashes. One from the theatrical ending, and one from the ending that he intended, and they were supposed to like meet in the middle.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but it just never ended up getting off the ground. And he was also writing, he wanted to do an Army of Darkness 2, and then an Evil Dead 2, like a sequel to the remake, and then converged that into Evil Dead 7, which would have like tied Ash's and Mia's narratives together.
Oh my God.
But then they ended up making the show, and the show is the best version of all of it.
I think I watched an episode with you.
Yeah, I love it to death. It's great. I love his commentary on himself. Like in the second one, he goes back to his hometown, which he was shooed out of,
right?
Because like they blame him for the murder of all of his friends,
right? Yeah.
Like and he did technically kill them,
mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
was it Bruce who read from the Necronomicon?
In some it depends on the movie.
Oh.
He has. He definitely has. He does in Ash vs. Evil Dead.
Oh, okay.
He starts it because he gets really high with this girl, and she's like, oh, can you read me some French? She's like, this ain't French. This is Sumerian. But listen to this, and he starts the whole problem.
That's hilarious.
But he goes back to his hometown, and they all hate him, and he walks into a bar, and everyone in this town, since he was a kid, since he got back from the first one, has called him Ashy Slashy.
Yeah.
And he gets pissed, and he hits a beer bottle like against the wall, like it's against the wall, and he just punches it with his robotic hand.
Right.
He's like, I am Ashy Slashy. I'm the boomstick butcher with the chainsaw hand. It's such a great moment. But no, that's great, and like I think as a franchise, The Evil Dead is my favorite horror entity.
Nice.
It's very fun. It's it's horror comedy at this point, but it's so much fun.
Sure. Yeah. So those are your final thoughts.
Yeah, those are my final thoughts on those. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I guess final thoughts for me. Blair Witch. I just love how it revolutionized what it did. There's also alternate endings for Blair Witch as well.
The original Blair Witch?
Yep. But they're variations of the same thing. It's all of she walks down in the basement and Mike is doing something.
Okay.
It's like Mike standing there looking at her, Mike like face down on the ground, Mike up in the ceiling.
That wouldn't have made too much sense though, because isn't there a legend that goes throughout it about the people standing against the corner?
Yeah, so the legend was that a man, I think his name's like George Parr or something like it's some like normal sounding name, took kids, kidnapped kids and brought them to his basement to murder them by two, and what he would do to keep the kid from like screaming and running away was make one face the wall while he does it to one kid, and then grab the other kid and do him in. Another one was him like hanging or something. So what they did was they did it to test audiences. They showed all the endings, and the one that made the most sense to everyone was the standing in the corner, and that does actually work the best in my mind as well.
That only makes sense.
Another thing I wanted to end with is there's a theory behind Blair Witch 1, which completely is ruined by the sequel.
Oh, okay.
By the Adam Wingard movie, where it's that the Blair Witch isn't real. Josh and Mike are actually hatching a plot to murder Heather.
Ooh.
And that would justify the erratic behavior. That would justify why Mike kicks the map into the water and washes it away. It would justify why Josh leaves. It would justify why throughout the movie Mike is like, I'm never going outside during nighttime. Like, fuck that. But he's the one who is the one to be like, we need to go look for Josh right now at night. When they get to the cabin, Mike is like, I'm going upstairs, like almost saying it to someone other than Heather. And then when he goes upstairs, Heather comes upstairs and he's like, I'm going downstairs to the basement, pretty much signaling to someone else who's maybe listening. He goes into the basement, she sees Mike standing in the corner, then she falls to the ground, thus Josh hitting her in the back of the head with whatever, murdering her.
Okay, that's an interesting
which
one.
I really like as a theory. But,
and it's just taken away.
It's just ruined by the
Could you
third
imagine
one.
if the sequel had like proven that?
That would be so cool.
That would have been interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, except we get weird gangly arm scary lady, but that's about it. All right, now on to our favorite segment, Fistful of Thoughts.
Yeah, which we've changed it up a little bit.
Yeah, so at first we were going to just do movies that we've watched recently and we thought they were bad or we thought we needed to talk about. But I don't know if that really like works because I don't know about you, but I don't go out of my way to watch bad movies.
Yes, I do sometimes. But in this case, I'm not always going to see something that I don't like. So,
yes, that's it.
But yes, I have gone out of my way to see bad movies before.
So what we're changing it to is each week after we do our Fistful of Thoughts, we are going to give a recommendation to each other, and then we're going to come back on the podcast and talk about it during the segment. So the first, I guess the first recommendations we ever did to each other was I recommended you The Lobster, and you recommended me Birds of Prey. And we both had similar opinions about these movies.
And that'll probably mark the ending of this podcast forever.
Yeah, we're never friendship over. So just to intro, I think we both really didn't like each other's movies, right?
Yeah. I can't say The Lobster is a bad movie.
Sure.
Because
I wouldn't say that about Birds of Prey either.
Yeah, it has its place, and I believe I get the point that it's trying to make. But I thought it was really mean-spirited.
Yeah, you said this, and I was kind of confused by it.
And overall, I was confused by something you said too, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Overall, it had funny moments.
Yes.
But it wasn't consistent enough for me to not be awkward.
Really?
When there are moments like last week you told me that somebody died and it was funny.
It's supposed to be funny, yeah.
And then several people died, and I didn't think any of them were funny.
I was talking about the woman who throws herself out the building.
You thought that was funny?
It was played off for laughs, yeah.
I thought that was really sad.
It's funny in the sense that Colin Farrell's character then uses it to be like, I hope she dies slowly.
Yeah,
like,
slowly.
That's hilarious.
I hated that too because it perpetuates the idea because he's with that woman that he uses that with.
The most evil woman alive.
Yeah, he would later find out that she is heartless. I like that. I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
He uses that to get with her. And that's the thing is I think he's a horrible person anyway.
Okay.
Because like he doesn't give a fuck about that woman at all, even though that she was desperate just to find
the woman who offered him the cookies, the biscuit woman.
Yes.
Yes.
And like when she died, even though he.
Oh, by the way, this is like this is a
full
spoiler
spoilers.
of this section will always be spoilers.
Yes.
So
every time we do it.
Yeah.
He's not. He doesn't care when she dies.
Yeah.
He doesn't care that she literally tells him that she is going to kill herself.
Well, he doesn't know if she's being serious.
No, but he doesn't care at all because his next thought is like, God, my last deflection was good.
Yeah, that's funny.
That is funny, but he's like, I think that's part of it. Is I hated the main character.
Sure,
because he's a horrific person.
I don't know if he's a horrific person.
And that at the ending, I think that kind of shows off.
Well, let's talk about the ending. Let's just skip and then we'll go back.
Back to what it is. Yeah.
But what do you think happened during the end?
I think he left.
Okay.
I think he left her there.
I think he didn't do it, and then he stayed with her and pretended.
Pretended? I thought about that, too.
Because those are your three options. He either leaves, doesn't cut his eyes and stays with her, or cuts his eyes and stays with her.
I think there's a fourth option.
What is it?
I think he tries and he kills himself.
Oh, yeah, that is also a fourth option. That he bleeds to death?
Yeah, bleeds to death because he's an idiot. And
yeah, sure.
And she was blinded by surgical means.
Yeah.
And I think just because of who the character is and how we get to know him throughout that movie, that he left her there. And I think the movie actually supports that a little bit in the idea And you've seen it much more than me.
I've seen it maybe 2 or 3 times.
2 or 3 times. Yeah, I watched it through once. A lot of this movie.
Oh, and by the way, when I first watched The Lobster, I didn't like it.
No? Okay.
Nope. On my first watch, I was like, I don't like this, and then I thought about it for the next couple days, and I turned around on it, and I really liked it.
Fair enough. I did that with Kill Bill Part 2. I remember not liking Kill Bill Part 2 that much.
And now that's both of our favorite.
I love Kill Bill Part 2. Yeah. It's so good. Anyway. No, yeah, I think he just leaves her there because a lot of this movie and a lot of the relationships are predicated on the idea that they have one thing in common.
That's it, yeah.
They have one thing in common.
A superficial thing.
Yeah, a superficial thing. And now he finds that one thing with her.
Yep.
And that they're both short-sighted.
Yes.
And then that is taken away from them.
Yeah.
And then he asks her a bunch of questions, and it turns out that neither of them have anything in common at all.
Yeah.
Whatsoever. So, in the end, like, none of those relationships, whether like that are predicated on something, like that one thing, work out anyway.
Yeah.
And maybe they're trying to make the point is that they don't have anything in common at all, but they also have nothing to talk about anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't think he, in the end, he loves her. I think that superficial thing was needed for him.
Yeah, I think I totally agree with what you're saying, but I think that the whole thing is a satire on our society and how we view, I guess, like, the one thing you could bring up is, like, dating apps. Like, being like, oh, I love rap music. It's like, put that on your thing, and then you're going to get other people who like that too, match with you. But then when you try to talk to them, it's just like, there's nothing there. And I really like Yorgos's idea of that as our society, but also the single people who are like, no touching. You can't even flirt with anyone.
I had a huge problem with that.
That's hilarious.
I had a massive problem with that because when she is first introduced, she says, you can leave whenever you want, and then she hugs him.
Sure.
And then no touching is allowed, and you can't leave whenever you want. It's because, like, they can't leave together.
I think
they couldn't, even though she said straight up that you have no ties to this place, that when the idea of them leaving makes her go nuts and makes her blind Rachel Weisz.
Yeah. I think it's jealousy. I think it's that the lady who runs the single people basically has never found love, and now that she's made it her whole life to go against that, when there is seemingly an organic relationship happening in front of her, she wants to destroy it at any means possible.
See, I get that, but I don't think, and I understand how it's supposed to be a satire of the current days of dating, but I think it's too black and white to do that properly.
Well, I think
there's no middle ground whatsoever.
Sure, I think that, but that's the point he's making, where people think that it's black and white when really it's not. I don't know if he made it as clear as it should have been, but I do think what he's saying is there's people who think you can only be single, and there's people who think you can only be dating someone at all times. Because I don't know about you, but
the extremes of those two,
and the extremes of those two. But I don't know about you, but I know people. Like, I have friends who get
out
of
people.
Okay, I have friends. I know people who get out of a relationship and immediately start another one. You know,
yes,
or just someone who's completely single and has like relationships with people but never commits. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. No, I
and not saying that's bad in any sense of the way. Like,
no,
that's just how people are.
No, I get that, and I also it was so militant with both sides.
Yeah,
and I hated that too. I love the idea that they were hunting people who were single.
I know.
People who were single, and each time you got one, you got more days.
Yeah.
To spend there. That was nuts. But that also, there was things that they said that made me think that, like, because this is an alternate universe.
Yes, it's
like
dystopian future, whatever you want to call it.
It doesn't feel like dystopian. It feels like something a long time ago was a little bit different,
Sure.
and so it completely changed like the present day.
I just mean in the sense that the government is so involved in these people's lives. It's almost a fascist regime.
No, that's fair.
Yeah.
I think that place and other places like it are where animals come from in this world.
Yes,
yeah,
I agree.
I think.
Did you like the intro of just a woman driving? And then
yes.
she shows up and just shoots something, and it says the lobster.
Yes, I thought that was great. I forgot about that until you just pointed that out, and I like
it's such a cold open.
Yeah, I love that because that probably means that she loved him.
Yeah, that was probably either a lover or someone who rejected her.
Yeah,
something like that.
Ooh, that's harsh.
Yeah, man.
But how did she get out then?
She probably
found somebody?
Yeah, she probably found someone in a superficial way.
Yeah,
it's like she's dyslexic or something like that.
You never find out what happens when your relationship is predicated on a lie, because they say they'll turn you into something worse than you can ever imagine.
What part are you talking about?
When
you find out, like, so when he's with the evil woman, and then she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna turn you in."
Yeah,
right. Okay.
She says they'll turn you into something that nobody ever wants to be.
Right.
So I was very curious.
Do you have any thoughts on what the thing is?
A tick.
A tick. That's a good one. I was thinking a mosquito.
A dung beetle.
Dung beetle. Yeah, it's all like little things that are easily killed or are pests. Do you have any idea what he turned the evil woman into? Because I have a theory.
I don't know. But maybe a snake.
I think it's a rabbit.
A rabbit. Ooh.
That's why he never wants to tell Rachel Weisz's character
what it was.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, that I like that.
Yeah.
That has implications to that he could have killed her because he leaves her in the woods.
Yeah.
So it could have been.
And then there's like flamingos in the woods and peacocks and stuff like that.
That's a good point. Yeah, I never even thought about that.
Because I'm guessing what they do is once they turn people into animals, they just let them go, like out the front door, basically.
That they must, yeah. Like just go on ahead, or maybe I don't know, because he has his brother.
Yeah, but it's probably like a family thing.
Oh, like they call him in. They're like, Bob didn't make it. Come pick him up.
Yeah, exactly.
That's horrific.
Yeah, man. Scary.
Please don't make me do that for you.
What would you want to be?
No, nothing.
You'd have to be something.
I'd spin the wheel on that one. A bear. I'll be a bear.
A bear? That's not a bad idea, being a predator.
Yeah.
Because then it's like nothing's really going to
And there's no bear hunting season.
There's no bear hunting season. I think I'd be a house cat.
A house cat. That would be the safest choice, I think.
Yeah. Or like a family dog. But I love how they're like, don't be a dog. Everyone chooses dogs.
Yeah, I love that too. She was very happy with his choice to be a lobster.
I know.
Isn't
that great?
There were moments in that I loved. I thought all the characters, all of them were very mean-spirited.
Sure. What about John C. Reilly's character? I feel like he was like the nicest out of all of them.
He was, but he was still like, yeah, I know you're happy out here, but I'm going to turn you in.
Yeah.
Because I need more time. Everybody was selfish.
Yes, but I think
Even
that's a
Rachel
product
Weisz.
of the society that they're living in.
That's fair. But Rachel Weisz even, I was like, that's another problem. Like they're fighting hard to stay together, and neither of these people love each other.
Yeah.
And they have no reason.
Colin and Rachel?
Yeah.
Do you not think they love each other?
No, I don't. Because even she's not. She apologized to him because she was blind.
Yeah.
But she doesn't actually feel that way.
Do you know what else she says when she's blinded? She's like, why didn't you do it to him?
That's exactly what I was going to bring up.
Which is really interesting.
Where she's like, why you could have blinded him.
Yeah.
Like, why me? So that's what I was bringing up. It's immediately like selfish.
But it's
that's
also
horrible. But
also like another thought you could give to it was she knows that he might want to leave if she finds out he's blind, whereas if he's blind, she might still want to be with him. But it is all left up to interpretation.
Yeah, that is completely. But I see what you're saying. But I will rewatch this at some point.
I'm not saying you need to. Your opinion's completely valid.
No, because I think there might be something more in there that I could get out of it.
Sure.
But the opposite might also be true, where I
where you don't like it even more.
I might be like, well, here's everything I thought about it is now reinforced by these things. You know.
Sure.
But I 100% I understand why you like it.
Yeah.
Like, and
it was my least favorite out of Killing of a Sacred Deer, The Lobster, and The Favorite.
Yeah.
Until I thought about it and possibly rewatched it again.
Okay.
It might still not be my favorite because I really loved The Favorite, which is his movie about like Queen Anne or something like that.
Okay.
But
after you talking about Killing of a Sacred Deer, I have been thinking about.
It's a ride, man.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that. Yeah, so that might be something to watch at some point.
But yeah, what do you have any more thoughts about The Lobster? Because I'd really love to keep talking about it.
About The Lobster?
Yeah.
You know, an excuse to just keep going. Lobster cast.
Yeah.
Colin
Farrell's belly cast.
I liked. I lost my shit when the guy was in the pool and he just slammed his head into the stone so his nose would bleed. And when that girl comes back, he's like, "Look, I got nosebleeds too. We have so much in common."
You can't say it's not funny.
I thought that was very funny.
Yeah. And then he smacks his face on the wood too. And then he's like, "What would you rather do? Have a little nosebleed every now and again, or be turned into an animal, shot and killed?" And he's like, "I'd rather have a nosebleed."
Yeah, but if I was Colin Farrell at that point, I'd be like, "Yeah, but you're gonna have an aneurysm
eventually." Yeah,
like you're gonna,
or just his nose will just break.
Yeah, something like I'm shocked his nose hasn't broken.
Yeah, because I don't know about you, but I feel like it's really hard to give yourself a nosebleed unless you're predisposed to having a nosebleed.
And the way he's doing it, only means that his nose is going to be smashed against something.
When he's like 90 years old, it's going to be smashed to his face.
I'm shocked it wasn't broken the first time.
I know, on the stone.
Yeah. But I loved the whole thing is eventually when it comes back round, he just sits in their boat with them and he's just like, your entire relationship is predicated on a lie.
I know.
But I did like how that guy's wife slapped Colin Farrell because of that. Like, you just ruined my life.
Yeah. Or it's like I know, but I don't want to acknowledge it.
That's
also, the little kid's like, "Mom, here's a knife. Stab him."
Stab him. Yeah. I forgot about that. And I loved why.
Why they gave them kids?
I think this movie would have worked better for me in like a 25-minute short film.
Sure,
like if you just like kind of put those things in there and it was like an advertisement for this resort that they have to go to.
See.
I think that could have worked really, really well better for me.
Did you find the pacing off? Like, did you find it long?
No.
Because you know what I mean when I say it becomes a different movie halfway through?
Absolutely. It becomes a completely different movie. But it shares the same spirit.
Yes, the themes are similar. It's just a different aspect of that theme.
It's the opposite side of the spectrum.
Yeah.
We get to see one part of the world, and then we get to see the opposite of that.
Yeah.
Which is interesting, and it's not bad. Like a lot of that movie, I think, is very well done.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, and some of the dark humor I found very funny.
Yeah.
But there are some parts that are like, there's a half an hour goes by without anything that I actually found funny. So when
he's in the hotel, or when he's out being single,
in between, I'd say like there would be large chunks where I'm like, this isn't funny, and then they'll do something wacky, and I'm like, well, that doesn't match with the last half an hour.
Like what? Do you know what in that example?
Some of the. I can't think of anything they said specifically, but some of the things that the questions he would ask her when she was blind, I think.
Sure, yeah.
And I hated how into that song they got.
Yeah.
And started just like really making out hard in front of people they know will hurt them.
I know, yeah. Well, that's I think the interpretation is that they just kind of like lost what they were trying to go for.
Yeah,
and it's
themselves.
Like they messed up, and that was the implication of the because I think that's another thing where it's like the single woman hears the music and it's really beautiful music, and sharing a passionate moment with your lover during hearing that would be really nice and really intimate, and she knows she will never have that and she can't ever have that, and her being so what's the word? I don't know. Just
jealous.
Jealous, yeah. The jealousy of it kind of got to her, and that's what made her blind her.
Okay. No, I
don't know. It's a movie that can be interpreted different ways.
A million different ways.
Yeah.
There's a lot of moving parts in that movie. Overall, I want to give it one more shot, and it's one of those situations where it could go either way.
Yeah.
But I kind of hope I hate it more.
Sure.
Like just to be able to like nail that, like just a little bit, hammer it.
Jake
a little
was
harder.
wrong.
Exactly. Yeah, I'll take notes on everything I disagree with what you've said today.
Yeah.
But I can't say I hated it. It's absolutely not a bad movie.
Yeah.
I think that's it for the last.
It's Yorgos' first English-speaking movie.
Is it?
It is, and I think that shows, because I think he did Killing a Sacred Deer afterwards, and then he did The Favorite, and I think The Favorite might be his most well-made movie.
Okay.
But and it's a hilarious movie as well.
There are some excellent directors who have transitioned from foreign to American films and have like done so well, like the Sisters Brothers.
Right, French director.
Yeah, that was his first. Oh, I thought it was Italian.
Maybe, I don't know.
No. But yeah, that was his first English movie, and he somehow convinced the studio to let him make a Western with 4 really famous actors.
Yeah.
And it was great.
And one of them is in it for like maybe 20 minutes, basically.
Which one?
I'd say Jake Gyllenhaal.
Jake Gyllenhaal's got a good 40 minutes in that movie.
Yeah.
He's a...
It's pretty an unceremonious performance, though.
Do you think so?
Well, in the sense of what happens to his character.
Oh, okay. I thought I was like, he did that great. Like
he's good in it.
Everybody in that movie is really good.
Really
in
good.
It. Like, and
John C. Reilly too.
John C. Reilly.
Connection to The Lobster.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's a good point.
I loved him in The Lobster. He's so good in it.
He's one of my favorite actors of his like class of actors. Like like those people that you think of, like Will Ferrell and all of them.
Yeah.
Because he is an excellent dramatic actor.
Oh, totally.
And nobody ever like lets him do that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I'm saying. Like in The Sisters Brothers, he is up with Jake Gyllenhaal, and Joaquin, and one more. I forget his name. He was in Venom.
Are you talking about Riz Ahmed?
Yes.
Yeah,
Riz
he's great.
Ahmed.
Yeah.
They're all like really great actors and like known for being pretty dramatic and very like realistic. And then there's John C. Reilly, whose claim to fame is Step Brothers. And he is the beating heart of that movie.
Oh, yeah, he's basically the main character of that movie.
Yeah, he's so good. He's the only one who has a true arc.
Yeah.
And he learns to become a better person.
Yeah.
And it's so good. Anyway, that's not what our fistful of thoughts was about.
Yeah, what are your final thoughts on The Lobster?
Lobster. Not for me.
Yeah.
But I see the place that it holds, but it's really mean-spirited, and I hated everyone in it.
I will disagree with you on the mean-spirited part. I think it is a tough movie. I will say I think it's a tough movie, but no, yeah, your opinion's valid. We're still friends.
Thank you.
I think we're still friends.
I think, yeah.
We'll find out after I talk about Birds of Prey.
Yeah, that's your for a few thoughts more.
So my for a few thoughts more was you recommending me Birds of Prey, and I think I didn't like it.
Okay, I think that's interesting.
Yeah, because maybe when we talk about it, because I feel like me talking to you about The Lobster, kind of maybe
your opinion. I was a little pulled more towards
actually
not hating it.
To end your Lobster, what would you rate it out of 5 stars?
Out of 5 stars?
Yeah.
3.5.
Oh, that's a good rating.
3 to 3.5. Yeah.
That's a good rating.
But that's the thing is like that's off of its merits.
Sure.
As
considering it as a film.
Yeah. If I was like how much I enjoyed myself, it'd probably be 2.5.
Fair enough.
You know, but there are funny moments.
Yeah.
And yeah. So, but yeah, go on about Birds of Prey.
So Birds of Prey. When it first started, I was really into it, and then it just started to decline for me.
Okay.
I didn't find Margot Robbie's good in it. I think Margot Robbie and Ewan McGregor are the best 2 parts.
Really, you didn't like Mary Elizabeth Winstead?
I did not like her at all.
I thought she was great.
I thought she was awkward.
That's the point.
Yeah, but it doesn't come off funny to me.
Oh, okay.
I didn't find humor or charm in her. I found her playing a character that didn't really make sense.
Well, okay, why is that?
In the sense that's like she's a hardened criminal and stuff like that. But I just didn't appreciate the awkwardness of it.
I like the idea, and there's nothing. This is just the implication I got.
Yeah.
but because that whole thing happened to her when she was like 9 years old.
Sure. Which we find out through many flashbacks, which is another problem for me.
That's fair. That's a fair point. But that happened to her when she was 9 years old, and then she devoted her life to training to exact revenge.
Right.
So she has no social skills. So she hasn't talked to people.
Right.
And she's just been training, and so I like that a lot. And then she has no idea how she's supposed to act as a woman in her late 20s.
Uh-huh.
She's got no clue. This is what she does.
Yeah.
And so when people talk to her, she does like she's just confused.
Right. Sure.
And I like that a lot.
Going off that, I think another issue for me was I found that there was no chemistry between any of them. Like in the last part when they're like teaming up and they're talking to each other, I just felt it was all forced.
I thought the I could see that, but I don't agree with you except for with the cop.
Right.
She felt very forced to me.
The cop. Oh yeah, totally.
Very.
And her doing like quippy one-liners of like bad '80s movies and stuff. It was not good.
Which is it sucks because I liked the arc of her. Like at the beginning, you find out that like she had solved this like awesome case and it was all taken. Like all of the credit was taken.
Yeah.
And that happens again at the end of the movie, so she quits.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that as an arc for a character.
Do you know that obviously there were reshoots. Do you know what the reshoots were for and stuff like that?
I have no idea.
So the reshoots were for action sequences.
Really?
Yes, and the reshoots were done by John Wick 3's director.
That's why you can totally tell which action sequences are thrilling and which ones are tedious and annoying. I liked most of them, even the ones that weren't that great. I thought a lot of them were fun. Those action sequences, you can tell which ones are better. Like the police shootout was fun.
Which one do you mean?
It's when she goes into the station to get the
girl, that was totally a John Wick 3 guy. Yeah. I think when she was in the evidence locker, I think that was a John Wick 3.
Yes.
But the most evident one for me, and what made me be like, oh, I'm excited to see the action in this movie, is when we first see Huntress.
Oh, okay.
And it's straight out of a John Wick movie.
Yeah, fair.
She kicks the table, they're all shooting, she does like crazy moves and like shoots everyone. That's straight up John Wick.
Fair, yeah.
And I was really excited for the action, and then I was really let down by the rest of it.
What did you think of Ewan McGregor?
He's great.
Yeah.
I think he's the best part of the movie, and at some points I was kind of rooting for him.
That's fair, but I think, like I said last time, I don't think there was a reason why he puts on the mask.
No.
He just puts it on.
That was also confusing.
I bet you that's another thing that they changed.
They reshot and stuff.
Like, why? Dude, why just have it?
Yeah.
And he puts it on, and I like it when he puts on the mask. And his voice, he's a little more furious about things when he's doing it.
Right, yeah.
And I love him between him and Zaz.
I thought Zaz was good as well.
Yeah.
Except the ending part, where his final moments were.
I don't remember what happens to him.
Basically, he ends up drugging Harley. He shoots her in the neck with the dart, and then he's kind of just giving his supervillain speech. He like turns into a comical bad guy.
Oh, are you talking about Ewan McGregor or Zaz?
No, I'm talking about Zaz.
Okay.
When he's like, "Can you see me?" Like,
okay.
Like blink if you can see me, and then he like goes on a spiel about how he's gonna like do all these things, and he's just shot, and it's just like,
oh, fair enough. Okay.
Yeah. I wasn't a fan of that. I wasn't a fan of the flashbacks. I thought they really slowed the momentum of the movie because we saw the same flashback like 3 different times.
Which one was that?
It was the family being killed.
I didn't mind that. I like that. I thought the reveal of who the Huntress was a lot of fun because of the fact that everyone thought it was some guy.
Did they think it was some guy?
Everybody
though?
called him like they said like crossbow guy. Throughout the movie.
Yeah, but I interpreted that as guy as gender neutral.
No, that's no. I'm not saying like that, but like just the fact that nobody knows who they were.
Sure.
And then it's revealed that it is Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Her character.
Yeah, I thought that was fun, and like who it was in the flashbacks.
Right.
That's what I meant. Like, because you don't know, you hear about her.
Sure.
A little bit, but I thought that was completely like. Just like a throwaway, like she survived kind of thing.
Sure.
I didn't think that was going to play a part in anything, but I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I like the fact that she devoted her life to this.
I did like the one part where they did all meet up and they she tries to introduce herself. She's like, I'm Hunt, and then the cop it just names her, and she's just like, what the fuck? Like, that was funny. Oh, another thing I wanted to talk to you about was, do you think this movie should have been rated R? Because I do not, and I think the name should have been not Birds of Prey, the fantabulous emancipation of blah, 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 blah.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to
No, go for it. That's all.
When that trailer dropped, I told you straight up that I thought that it is a misleading title. Because and like that they should have called it Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey.
That's what they should have called it. But that's what they changed it to on ticket prices.
Yeah, afterwards, like when it was too late.
Yeah,
because that's what it is. Yeah. It's not a Birds of Prey movie.
It's a Harley Quinn movie.
They're side characters, and you could have just named it the Fantabulous Emancipation of Harley Quinn. That works as its own title.
Yeah, you could have done that.
Introduce the Birds of Prey for their own movie later.
Yeah, you wouldn't have even needed Birds of Prey
in that title. No. Well, you mean in the movie?
In the title.
Okay, because you could make a version of this without most of them.
Yeah, I agree with that. You could just keep the cop.
Keep the cop.
Maybe Canary can show up.
Yeah, Black Canary. Yeah, that would be fun.
But yeah, the flashbacks I didn't appreciate. What else was I saying before? Oh yeah, did you think it should have been rated R?
Oh,
because you said when you first told me that
I had no idea.
When you found out it was rated R was when she sniffed up the whatever.
Yeah,
but I was watching it and they drop the F-bomb like 50 times beforehand. It just went over your head.
Yeah, because I think I talk like that.
Sure,
all the time. So the fact that like that just seemed normal to me. So like when everybody's saying fucking shit, I just didn't even notice. Like, it didn't even. I went right over my.
Well,
head,
you telling me that, I was like, oh, I'm gonna see how many times they say fuck. Because if they say like fuck maybe like once or twice, then yeah, it could be PG. It could be PG-13. But then they just go off on it. I'm just like,
that's funny. No, you could have easily made it PG-13, but there are some themes that wouldn't have flied.
You think so?
Like when that guy's like got Harley Quinn really drunk and brought her behind the bar.
That could have easily been PG-13.
You think so?
Because that whole scene was just him like dancing with her. If he was trying to like grab onto her and rip and take her clothes off.
He was holding her close, and then when Black Canary walked by, he's like, we're all sat here.
Yeah, that could be PG-13.
Okay. Yeah. I wouldn't put that in a PG-13 movie.
You easily could.
Okay. And her like doing the drugs beforehand, that you probably couldn't show that.
All you had to do was just show the thing getting shot up, and then from that side, just hear Harley go.
That's fair. Yeah.
And that's it. And then the one moment of extreme violence was Ewan McGregor being exploded by the grenade, which made me go, whoa. I didn't like that at all.
I thought that was very shocking.
Yeah.
But I thought it was very funny.
I didn't find it funny.
I found that very fun. I don't know why. I'm upset because we won't see more of that character.
Yeah, that's another thing I was thinking about.
But other than that, I love that ending for a character.
What I feel like what they should have done was he should have fallen into the water and then an explosion from the water. Thus, he can come back.
Yeah.
And then...
And you could have contrived an idea from that about the mask is now stuck to his face.
Sure, yeah, or he like loses an arm or something.
Well,
like
he's supposed to not be able to take that mask off.
Oh, okay.
Like is the idea of that character,
right?
But he can, and he just puts it on for no reason, and then he goes about his business. But no, for me though, I thought that movie was funny. Mm-hmm. I thought a lot of the leads were very charming. Yeah, and I love the action sequences. So for me, it was a win.
Yeah, yeah. I would say I wouldn't recommend it. For me, I think because I found it kind of generic.
I could see bits, yeah.
And it didn't really impress me in that way. But the moments with Harley and her just like talking and doing stuff, like I really liked. Mm-hmm. And I thought that stuff was really good. Like, let me look at what my notes are because I took notes during this. I loved every time Ewan said "ew."
Yes.
That was so funny. Every time he said that was amazing. Other than that, I said like Ewan was the best part of this movie. I liked Harley's stuffed beaver. I thought that stuff was really funny. But yeah, I don't know. It just wasn't a win for me, I would say.
Would you watch a sequel?
Yeah, I'd watch a sequel. I'd give a sequel a chance.
Yeah.
Because I like the character. Oh, one of the characters that I disliked so bad was Cassandra Cain.
Which one was
she? Was the kid. I thought her acting was terrible.
Okay, fair enough. I thought the character was fine.
I didn't like the character either.
No.
I don't know if that is because of her acting being terrible, but
I thought that character, the character worked, I think, for the group of people that she was stuck with.
Sure.
But Mia, I don't remember her being bad, but I don't remember most of her in it. So for me, she was unmemorable. But
yeah.
But no, I enjoyed it.
So yeah, final thoughts on Birds of Prey. For me, I didn't enjoy it, but I did like some parts. I thought some of the actors were really good, although I did have some gripes with it. But other than that, I'd probably give it like a. I went pretty harsh on Letterboxd.
Did you? I can't
it.
wait.
Yeah, I gave it like a 1.5 and a really bad review. But I think it's more of like a 2.5.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's my enjoyment of it. So I don't know. Maybe it's like a 3 for how
you gotta keep
how
your
it's
emotions separated on
exactly.
Letterboxd.
Exactly.
You're just like, this is my personal thoughts.
Yeah, exactly.
If you want my harsh thoughts, go to Letterboxd.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's my final thoughts on Birds of Prey.
Okay.
So this is kind of the end where we like kind of talk about what we're gonna do for the week, give recommendations to each other.
We have to recommend that.
First, let me hear what you're gonna do, what you're gonna watch, what you're gonna do stuff for the rest of the week.
Well, I've been thinking because I rewatched Man of Steel.
Yep.
I'm probably gonna rewatch Batman v Superman.
Nice.
Just to I don't think I've ever sat down and watched the Ultimate Cut on my own, with no distractions. Because I've watched it with you and some of our friends, and we were drinking the entire time.
We gotta name drop our friends because they love when we name drop.
Do
them.
they? Yeah.
Well, Zach was just
Zach
I got
was
named 3 times.
Yeah, Zach and Jesse.
Yeah.
We watched Batman v Superman Ultimate Edition with them.
Yep.
And it was a good time.
Because it was all of us drinking.
It was all of us drinking, yeah. Yeah. And it's still not a good movie from my memory, but I love, and the reason why I own those movies, because I do own.
You love movies.
Yeah, I do love movies. From Man of Steel all the way to Shazam and Joker, I own all of them. Birds of Prey is the only one I don't own.
I totally forgot Shazam was part of the DCEU.
Yeah.
I think that might be my favorite DCEU.
Is it? That's fair.
Yes.
It's solid.
I would rather watch Shazam again than watch Wonder Woman again.
Fair enough. Aquaman didn't show up on any of our.
Oh my god, I forgot about Aquaman. I watched Aquaman. I watched Aquaman on a plane on my phone, and my review of it was I watched this on a plane on my phone. David Lynch would be so disappointed in me.
That's funny.
I didn't experience it.
I didn't experience the true way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll be watching Batman v Superman, and this isn't a movie, but there's a comic series that I want to read. It's,
right, because you subscribe to the DC universe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's currently in the comics for DC there's Batman has a kid, Damian Wayne.
Okay, yeah.
And Superman has a kid.
Yeah.
Jonathan Kent.
Okay.
And they're Robin and Superboy. And
right.
They have their own little limited series together called Super Sons.
Nice.
And there's one the volume is titled When I Grow Up, and the cover is them together, Robin grappling hooking and Superboy jumping.
Nice.
And silhouettes, kind of a bluish purplish background, and then lightning strike to be exactly like the Dark Knight Returns cover. And that's what I'm going to be reading because I heard it was very, very good.
Nice.
But yeah, what are you going to be doing?
For me, I am going to be I'll be watching. I think I'm gonna finish the documentary that I talked a little bit about in the beginning. I don't really want to say his name because he's such a fucking awful person.
Yeah.
But that's gonna be interesting at least. I'm excited for Saturday. We do Star Wars D&D with our friends Zach and Jesse. There's your name drop, guys.
One more time, just so we have 3, Zach and Jesse.
Zach and Jesse.
There we go.
Okay. And and it's a lot of fun, and it's really nice to play board games with friends again during all this time.
Yeah, it has been fun. We should all get Monopoly Plus.
And play online.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'll probably try to be playing more Red Dead. I've been trying to play it, but it's so hard because to get into it is you got to start it up, and then it's just so much work because it's so realistic. You know what I mean?
If you have 10 hours to yourself in one day, that game's perfect.
Yeah.
But if you have children or a family,
oh my God,
it must be very difficult.
It's not a game to play in like 1 hour bursts.
No.
You need to play it for like 4 hours at least.
Yeah, and it can be very rewarding, but also very, very frustrating. I love that game though.
Yeah. So finally, we're gonna recommend a couple movies to each other to talk about on Fistful of Thoughts for next week.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to start?
Yeah, there's a lot. Every week I've always in my head I think like, I need to force Jake to watch this in some situations. I always come up with something, but this is one I know you haven't seen, and I've been trying to get you to see, so I'm going to make you watch Man of Steel.
Man of Steel, yeah. I think that's the one. I think I said it before that's the one movie that I haven't seen in the DCEU.
It is my favorite. Although I think, like I was saying earlier, I think Wonder Woman is probably more competent.
Sure,
but I like Man of Steel a lot. You just gotta separate yourself from some of the stuff in it.
Yeah, and I've never been a big Superman fan, so I'm interested to watch it.
I wasn't until like I started reading the DC Rebirth stuff.
Right.
I became a huge Superman fan from it.
Yep.
And like really got to appreciate what the character was supposed to be. Because I watched Man of Steel when a little bit after it came out, and I was just like, "Is this what Superman's supposed to be?"
Oh my God,
this is violent. Is he coming for me?
Yeah.
And then like I got a true appreciation, which actually made me appreciate Man of Steel more,
right?
As it's like separate universe kind of
sure.
thing.
Like this is one person's interpretation of
Superman.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah.
And my recommendation to you, I discussed it a little bit before, just to make sure you haven't seen it, would be The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is a Wes Anderson movie. I think it's my favorite. I mean, I have a tattoo of it. So I kind of have to rep it. But it is honestly one of my favorites, and I think it might be Bill Murray's best in the Wes Anderson world.
Okay. I was going to say ever?
No. I think his best might be Lost in Translation.
Okay, no, that's fair. I like
Bill.
that movie a lot.
I love Lost in Translation.
I'm excited because I like Wes Anderson. I'm not the biggest fan, but I like Moonrise Kingdom.
Yep,
and I like
which is actually my least favorite.
Is it?
Yeah, Moonrise Kingdom is probably my least favorite Wes Anderson. I haven't seen Bottle Rocket. That's the only one I haven't seen.
No,
I own it. I own the Criterion edition, but I haven't seen it.
You've never seen it?
No.
I'm the same way with the original Godzilla.
Oh, nice.
I have the original Godzilla on Criterion, and I have never watched it.
That's so good. But yeah, no, Lost in Translation, the story of a pretty much, God, what's that guy's name who's a deep sea explorer guy? It's like something French, Jean something.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, and it's like kind of like satirizing that, and Willem Dafoe is so funny.
I didn't know he was...
Oh, yeah.
That's great.
There's so many people in that movie. But yeah, no, I highly recommend that, and I think you should check it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
So that comes to the end of episode 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did it.
Attack of the Clones.
Attack of the Clones. All right, thanks for listening, guys.
See ya.